U.N Spacey Wolf Squadron. It's your Wolf Commander Wolf 10. I'm your werewolf. We have begun to hit our next week of interesting topics, specifically today's topic.
Mhm.
Joining me right now as a sausage fest, we have the Schooner the Tuna coming at you live underneath the underground. Schooner Tuna.
Coming at you live from a secret government facility buried deep underground, but has excellent Wi-Fi. This is Schooner Tuna. Today we are going to be talking about child actors, the good, the bad, and the oh hell no.
And the awful. The
Yep.
really awful. He is the man of a few words. The man that came across time and space, and even cyberspace, with his gizmos and gadgets and his mega buster, the Maverick Hunter Saint, Brian Gilmartin.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. And yes, as Schooner was talking about, we're going to be talking about child characters, child actors. And if any of you have anything to add, or if we give you anything new to think about as we're going along, let us know down below. And
You're not RJ, man. Cut that shit out.
I just can't resist.
I know. I can't resist cutting you off on that shit.
That's
I'll
fine.
be here all day waiting for your ass to do that shit. Trust me, with a shotgun and everything. You better stop pretending to be RJ, man. You're confusing the hell out of me.
Just kidding.
Anyways, continue.
Anyway, so just let us know what you think and tell us what y'all think about him in the comments below, and we'll see. And hope you enjoy the show.
He is coming to us from Occupy Balmora, the man, the myth, the TF, and the FN and the number. Trooper FN 2525.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Trooper FN 2525. Hey, it's going to be a great conversation. Definitely going to go ahead and talk about a few period pieces. I think we'll probably even discuss how plot devices are used when we look at these type of characters, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, and we will have our fifth member join us shortly. She's still on her way from work, but I'll introduce her when she gets here finally. So, anyways, we've had our few shares of good written children characters, and we have our bad from the olden times,
Right.
even from the middle times. We're not gonna ignore that as well. Like, we're not gonna ignore that the 90s had its fair share of terrible child characters, and especially in the 90s, when it involves animal movies and even kids that find their way into to greatness, like Blank Check.
Yep.
Anybody remember that movie?
Blank check.
I don't think I saw
There-
that one.
There was some controversy around that movie that I never even knew that at that time. Wow.
Well, when you
Wow.
when you matured, you realized the kid committed a felony, several felonies.
Fraudulence.
Oh,
Yeah, he'd have to go to jail.
No, I was talking about the fact that the lady kissed him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
I didn't even
Yeah.
think nothing of it when I was a kid, but apparently that rolls up a stink back in the days.
Yep.
Poor lady. That poor lady.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, she did say call him in like what, 15 years? Call her in 15 years.
Oh boy, that movie would never be made at all.
No, it would
At
not.
all. Oh well. Then there was that there was good movies like My Girl. Anybody remember My Girl?
Yep. And we all.
Yeah, I vaguely
yeah,
remember
yeah.
what went on.
That was with
My
Macaulay
Girl.
Culkin, if I remember.
Yep. Oh goodness, Macaulay Culkin. I'm so glad he's doing well for himself now.
Yeah, actually, after hearing everything that he's been through, yeah. it's
He
good.
got married to one of the best Disney Channel child stars, and got a baby with her,
Oh yeah.
Brenda Song.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
He is married to Brenda Song and starting a new family with Brenda. Bro, you go, boy, and you go, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He look, and I saw the pictures of them too. Bro, he looking good. He don't look like a ghoul no more.
No, that's
As
good.
a matter of fact, I saw him with James Roll. He don't look like a ghoul no more. That man keeping his health up. I hope he maintains that. He got a family now. You better maintain that, boy.
I think maybe that's why he's cleaning up his act, which is great because he's got a family.
I hope he's
That'll
still
do it
doing
to you.
rock. I hope he's still doing music because
I
he does have a
still-
band.
I didn't even know he was
I-
doing music.
Yep. I still love that one commercial that he did when he was reprising his role as Kevin McAllister.
That would have been an interesting sequel to Home Alone.
Mhm.
Him being an adult and he left his kid home alone.
That would be actually pretty interesting.
I think, yeah,
I
that
would
would
definitely
actually
make that movie.
I'd make that movie too. In fact, what they basically say, Kevin McAllister, what do you do now? And he says, I sell home security.
That's so appropriate too.
That would definitely be appropriate. Can we also not forget, come play with us, Timmy, forever and ever.
Danny, come play with us, Danny, forever and ever and ever. Yowza, just saw the last post that Trooper posted. Man.
Yeah. That's why I'm distracted right now.
Yep, me too.
Let me
Holy.
see. I'm gonna
Thank you,
take-
Trooper.
I'm gonna
Thank
take
you,
a-
Trooper. This
Sure,
gives
no
us
problem at all.
Yes,
no problem
thank you, Trooper. Indeed.
That was our
Yes.
week. That was our weekly motivation, guys.
Yeah.
That keeps us motivated to do these shows and do our daily lives.
Right.
Yep.
Everybody needs a weekly motivation.
We all need a motivation, definitely.
And a
Yeah.
little pick me up after all the
Okay,
misery.
To
we see.
clarify, to motivate, do good in life, not do bad.
To motivate
Yes.
do-gooders, this is why we do. This is why we
Mhm.
do good deeds. And
Yep.
anybody
Yes,
who
it
doubts, well, anybody who doubts us, you can just go away.
And then one question is, there couldn't be no wrong. I am the sovereign prince of Egypt, a son that's been born. Ooh, I can't say the song right now. I love that
Buddy
song though.
Hunter.
No, that's not Hunter. That's freaking Prince of Egypt.
Mm.
You never seen
Okay.
Prince of Egypt?
Don't think so.
You need to watch it.
Man, you got to watch The Prince of Egypt. That's like,
Yeah, I know,
man,
watch
powerful stuff. I mean, that one
You need to
song-
watch it too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
That's like DreamWorks is like high class 2D animation right there
Mhm.
Mm.
with
And
a
it
bit
was
of 3D animation mixed in.
I mean, the most popular song in almost that entire thing was The Plagues. And it was the
Yeah.
two brothers singing
Ooh.
that song.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, goodness. Speaking of the brothers, oh man, the voice cast for Moses and Ramses.
Yeah.
The only
That was-
movie where you'll see Batman and Voldemort playing off each other.
Yep. That was Voldemort? Ray Fiennes?
Yeah, Ray Fine. Yep. What was it? It was Val Kilmer who played Moses, and Ray Fine played the Pharaoh.
So
On the morning and evening star.
I
what
am
child
morning
characters
and
do we like anyway? Let's get on that. Like we were just talking Home Alone. Like that's a pretty good child character there, Kevin McAllister.
I think it's because these kids.
I
Oh, go
realized that I did not like Home Alone.
Really?
Really?
I come to realize I did not like Home Alone.
I was more of a like what Brian was saying about Home Alone. Kevin McAllister in the beginning of the movie, you're not really so much on his side because you see him. First off, it's just a bad night. It's a bad situation. It's one bad situation and then he makes the wish, and then you see how he's living, and you see him
And
learn
bad
his lesson.
parenting.
It's not so much bad parenting. It was a bad night. That's really what it was. Everything was, and that was what John Hughes was going for. He didn't want to portray in this movie because John Hughes in most of his movies, if you watch them, adult figures are almost always seen as.
I call it bad
as-
parenting.
He just got lost in the shuffle. It was a mistake, and that's what he was
Man,
going.
white
for.
people sure do not know how to do head counts, do they?
Actually, they did do a head. They did do a head count, but one of the neighbor kids was dressed up like Kevin, and he was just clowning around near them. Don't you remember? And they thought he was Kevin.
Yep. I
So
remember that
it was,
one.
yeah. So it was the family didn't do it on purpose. John Hughes was specific on that. It was just it happened.
You may not
and-
see it, but I'm still shaking my head.
I know.
Damn
I know.
shame. My mom, I'm sorry, black folk, we make sure everybody is here and accounted for. Looking at each other's faces and everything. You my kid? Okay, get your ass in the car.
And then there wouldn't have been.
that's
Then there wouldn't have been a
look,
movie.
look. Black people see that movie differently. Okay, you know we know we tend to look at it differently. Like I remember Steve Harvey on his radio show had said that they should have changed the name of that movie. Abandoned. They abandoned that little boy.
Oh
Well,
my
it wouldn't be
god!
wrong.
Look, his beginning part of the joke was, "You mean a little retarded boy they
Reading the
left
comments now.
at home?" Hey, Victoria.
Victoria's there. Hey, Vicky, good to see you.
Victoria,
Merry
welcome.
Christmas, you filthy animal scum, and Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah, he's like
I
keep
do-
the change, you filthy animal.
Home Alone 2 was basically just a repeat of Home Alone 1 in a way.
Except in
Yeah.
New York.
Except in New York, and that's the sequel. I call it the sequel curse. Just up the ante, make it bigger, make it broader, make it more, make it. It's always bigger, bigger, bigger. No,
One
Didn't
that
really need
house
to
that
be
he
bigger.
went to was a family house, like a relative house.
It was the uncle's house.
it was the
Yeah.
uncle's house being renovated.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie
Kevin,
though.
you spent $1,000 in road service.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not gonna lie though. I did like the traps in Home Alone 2. They were pretty. That was pretty creative.
That was pretty good. I think that was maybe the best part of the whole movie.
I still love the bit where he goes. That was the sound of a tool chest falling down the stairs.
He has to break his nose again.
Yeah.
Those men are operating on cartoon logic.
Hey, you guys
Exactly.
give up? You have enough pain? Never!
I did love.
love that line.
Yep.
And
Oh,
you can
what
tell
about
Joe
what-
Pesci was trying his best not to swear so much in his movie, so he goes.
Oh, yeah. And then the ladder breaks under him.
I still love what was it in the second one when his head gets caught on fire again and he does the backflip and lowers his head in the toilet and the
The
whole,
headstand
Boom.
the whole bottom floor blows up because he put.
just goes.
Like a rolling candle, man.
I'll admit, as much as I hate these films, I can still laugh at them. No, I don't hate them like specifically. I just hate the premise of how it happens, like the process of it. Like seriously. Now I'm more mad. I'm more mad at Kevin this time around in the second movie because he literally has to stop to fucking put the damn bruh. The fucking Walkman can wait. Get your ass in the plane with your family and then adjust the damn batteries.
Yep.
Yeah. The sequel is clearly his fault. The first one,
I'm like
the first one we
look.
can agree. The first one, I will agree with you on the second one. The first one we can agree to disagree on the circumstances surrounding.
No, my only main criticism of the first one is that the husband didn't go with the mama.
Yep.
Like, bruh, you gonna let her drive in a fucking truck with a bunch of strangers? Are you fucking kidding me? You a fucking weak man.
Have you ever? What was it? There's all these.
I don't care what their reasoning was either.
No film theories out there. The whole film theories is that actually Home Alone is actually Kevin McAllister is actually Jigsaw when he was a kid.
Oh, fuck that.
It's the crazy.
I know of that. I know of that theory, but like, fuck that.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Oh, I like how Victoria Fagbow's coming. I laugh at throwing bricks at Marvin Home Alone too.
Oh my God, the bricks! I remember. With it, you want to try to give me again? Come on, give me your best shot. And Marv's like, Harry, no!
Oh man, that was the best.
My part was when he grabs the woman's ass and she thinks it's those guys.
It's
It's Marv, and he's like, "Well, hello," right before he gets slapped in the face.
And then he points to Harry and goes, he did it. And Joe Pesci's like, did what? Boom.
Boom, headshot.
She doesn't even question it. She just target acquired.
Pretty like Terminator, man.
Like if we really throw logic in, logically she would still continue to hit Marv.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because he's the one who engaged. Well, hello. Whereas Marv is just talking to a kid and she still attacks him too. I'm like, what? But still, that was my part. That was my part. I could. A1RG3 Air
AR?
Gear, man.
Oh, Air Gear.
Hey, Air Gear.
Oh my God, the electrocution scene of of Marv of Home
Oh,
Alone. He was
yes.
like,
He's like,
ah!
I'm gonna
Did you ever watch-
murder that kid.
Did you ever watch Corridor Crew?
Corridor Crew. Have not heard of
Corridor
it.
Crew.
Oh, Corridor
They did.
Crew.
They did a There are a bunch of
Yeah.
animation and stunt workers that do a
Mhm.
lot of special effects digital,
Mhm.
and they did a R-rated version of the Traps in Home Alone.
Oh.
So basically, they applied realism to the Traps in Home Alone 2, and it
Mhm.
was amazing.
Sounds
So
lethal.
and Captain America: Civil War, they did a R-rated version of that too. I think Trooper Schooner might have happened upon it. I think he mentioned that. Right? Did you mention that one time? I could be misremembering.
I think I don't know. I'm getting distracted by all these. Stop sending me pictures of redheads, Trooper.
Or,
I'm getting horribly distracted.
Is that why he's been silent this whole time?
He said, "Be right back." Getting a
um,
mental drop.
That
no,
was
not
that
really,
was
not
early.
really. I was hoping once we get this whole thing out of Home Alone 2, we'll just kind of move into something different, and then I kind of want to go from there. As far as me
Actually,
and Home Alone,
you
like
take
I
the
don't really
reins
have
on this
anything
one.
to add, but
Yeah, you take the reins now, because we're just talking about fun stuff. Now
Right.
let's get into the bad stuff here and there.
well, no,
Right.
not at all.
Well, I'm
What I
saying we'll be bouncing here and there about the good and bad and the worst.
Right.
well, the thing with child characters and child actors, you can only do so much, but when you're able to pretty much more or less construct a decent story that kind of takes more of a Campbell, call to adventure on a
Mhm.
child scale, you can get some really good. You can get some really good films. Unfortunately, when it comes to children's films, there aren't that many that you can say that recently are fantastic in terms of
Right.
content in and of itself as far as story writing. But
Stranger Things can do so little, or at least do so
well, no,
much.
not at all, not at all. What it is, and to be perfectly honest, these films do they fire up the imagination, and they're best watched when you're young because that's when you're the most impressionable. But at the same time, you know, there are only so many films that you can rewatch as an adult and be like, yeah, that's a very inspiring film. And at one point, if you watch something else, you can something like say, God, what's a good one? Um, a really bad one, I would say, for me that I more or less thought was, a terrible franchise is like Spy Kids. It's like that's
Hmm
Oh
to
yeah.
me, that's just more
That
garbage
is a
content.
play-by-play of how not to write children.
That's more
Mhm.
garbage
Yeah.
content, and I mean, there is a film that I do kind of want to basically touch lightly on as far as what I didn't
Let's be
understand, but I don't want to go there yet.
there's a recent one he did. Robert Rodriguez did that's on Netflix right now. I keep forgetting the freaking name of it.
Oh yeah.
But
Hang on. When in doubt, Bing
yeah, go for it. But
Rodriguez.
as far as particularly like any one child character, there really weren't that many that I particularly had. um, because I wasn't necessarily looking at it in the context of, oh, what are some memorable child characters. I was looking at it, what fired my imagination when I watched, this stuff, as I've come across it, as I've more or less collected a lot of this stuff. Because, like I've said before, in other films, or
Well, it's
rather,
not just
in other
films. It's
film
not just
streams,
it's not
that
just films either. It's comic books and even video games. I mean,
mm,
we're talking child
well, yeah, but I
characters,
mean, as far
not
as video
Yep.
actors,
games,
but
I
characters.
mean,
Right.
look at the video game content. I mean, the only thing that really comes across as a child type character would be like maybe
We can
Kid
be heroes.
Icarus.
That's the one. That's the
But
one. We Can Be Heroes. That
no, what
recent
I was
one.
looking at, and like in terms of like cinematic, in terms of Hollywood, in terms of stuff that really was popular, and it's not popular now. I had to go as far back as the 80s to even find something that was like remotely inspiring. So I mean, I had to go as far back as like 1985, and we're talking about the Goonies at that point. and
Mm-hmm.
and again, Richard Donner, and you had the story obviously was by Steven Spielberg. Another writer on it was Chris Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this was
Who went
during
on to
that
direct
time.
Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone, and Chamber of Secrets.
Well, here's
Philosopher's
the
Stone.
thing. Here's the thing.
Philosopher's
Like
Stone,
when we were
yeah.
talking about this topic, Harry Potter is not one of those characters that comes to mind, because Harry Potter is not him him as a character is not memorable. He's just not. Like as an ensemble, yeah, if you stick him with Hermione, and you stick him with Ronald, yeah, then it is memorable, because then we're going into that whole superhero trinity. But
Well, it's also
even if-
I get what you're saying.
yeah, so
He's
I mean,
he's a flat art character. A flat art character is the same from beginning to end.
yeah, more or less. I mean, he doesn't really change. And I don't think he would.
No, he wasn't, Victoria. No, the hell he wasn't.
But
Max was not okay.
but
I enjoy. Okay, first off, in Victoria's defense, I enjoyed the movie for what it was. It
Me
was
too,
not-
but Max was
It
the
was
weak
not.
link.
It was not trying to be anything like beyond what it was. It was supposed to just be a story. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Look, my freaking standard when it comes to movies like that, it's Bastion and Trail.
Oh, Bastion! Wow, from the Neverending Story.
Bastion Benjamin Butts.
Oh, I remember him.
Moonchild!
Oh man,
That was the name that he gave the Empress.
Mm-hmm.
For those who were wondering, who were ever wondering what he said in Neverending Story when he shouted, it was Moonchild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was also a great story. That was a great story because the Neverending Story is great because it is supposed to show, and that's why Bastion is supposed to be projecting himself through Atreyu, who is also a pretty badass.
Cover me, Gamora. I am Atreyu.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, man, but it was because the nothing is supposed to represent that quote unquote adulthood where your imagination, where you are supposed to be an adult and yada yada yada. But what I like about Bastion and even Atreyu is that, and even the bookkeeper himself is, yeah, you can mature as an adult, but don't ever lose that imagination within you.
Well, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
one of those things, and I think everyone tends to be slightly myopic when it comes to writing a child arc. Is that when a child does go on that call to adventure, he goes through all those arcs, but at the very end of the day, he goes back to normal land, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's still a child. He does not mature. It's the best way to put it. He learns a lesson, but he doesn't mature in terms of what I would say mental maturity, and suddenly he's forced to grow up. Yes, he does learn lessons, but he's still a child.
Yeah.
Like he starts off as a child, he finishes as a child. It's not like a flat art character like Harry Potter.
No.
Like,
right.
He
well,
starts
it
off
was
in
supposed. Well, it's supposed. See how I guess I took it differently because throughout life, I mean, he's getting bullied by these kids, and of course, he has a dad. He's being raised by a single parent, and that's another thing I loved about the '80s too. They were really trying to, like you were saying, in the green room, they were really pushing.
You have to look at that. So
yeah, they were pushing that whole that whole alternative way of storytelling, because suddenly now in the 80s we're getting movies where we don't have the two parental units, so we have these kids who kind of have to essentially come into their own. They
Well,
have
there's
to
a stark contrast between 1985 and 2001 when Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was released. So, I mean, that's why I had to go as far back as 1985 to find inspiring characters that take you on an adventure, and then literally you get off the train and the adventure is finished and everything goes back. It's almost like a horror movie. It's almost like a horror movie where everything starts off as normal, then you go on this wild ride, and then everything goes back to normal.
The return to normalcy. Whereas if you want to follow the method by Junji Ito, you just start somewhat in a normal place, go into the bizarre, and he just keeps you in there.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, Goonies is one of those where it has a story, and it has an over the top. It has an over the top.
I'm glad you brought up Goonies.
You know, and it's and at the very end of the day, you know, the kids save the day haphazardly, but they still save the day in the course of their adventure.
Well, and I did like also the Goonies because they basically, I mean, even what is it? Sean Astin's character says, you know, the parents have done all they can, and now it's our turn. Now it's our time. It's our time to go and try something.
But the thing,
a new generation of heroes.
Exactly. That's what that whole.
It's one of these things where, like, also what tends to be very important in these types of films are the imagery, because only in a film or a type of genre where it's a kids film, and this is kind of why I wanted to kind of start in this particular area.
Okay.
Like in a kids film or in a kids adventure film, or I should say, the Boys Call to Adventure. You know, only in a Boys Call to Adventure can you find all this over the top imagery in terms of, you know, actual pirate ships, like the pirate ship that you find in the film. That is literally a life-size replica that they actually did for the film. So that thing actually costs money, but
those are Spielberg dollars right there.
Yeah. So, and it's the same.
If it wasn't Spielberg or if it wasn't Donner, they wouldn't have gotten that budget.
Well, it's the same thing with Explorers.
Oh, I love Explorers.
You know, and that's why I kind of wanted to go ahead and start as far back as the 80s.
Mary Lennox, yep.
Like
I Mary Lennox.
As much as I would like to start even further, you know, bringing in movies like The Last Starfighter. The Last Starfighter was technically a teen film. It was not a child film. So, I mean, The Last Starfighter does not count, even though there is a child character in that film. You know, the whole point to these films is that, you know, a boy can go on his call to adventure, but he doesn't necessarily go alone. He goes with his friends, and it's usually in a group of 3 or in a group of 4. Goonies was a little different in that it also had some teenagers involved.
But what I liked about Goonies was that it was clear that the kids had roped the teenagers into the adventure.
Right. And, you know, Stranger Things pulls a lot from that imagery in terms of its first season.
So,
is everyone doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah. So,
because you guys are cutting out on my end.
I'm hearing everybody just fine on my end.
No, everyone's just fine.
I hear everyone.
My connection is kind of screwy right now, so like I said, you guys are sometimes cutting it.
You'll have to close all your windows.
Yeah.
That might help.
Yep.
But, I mean, as far as, like, 1985, you had Explorers, and then you had The Goonies, and then subsequently, my favorite film of this type of genre, or, you know, the Boys Call to Adventure, was actually 1986, and that was Stand By Me. And I mean,
hit pause real quick.
Nope, hit and pause.
We have the lovely Leia Valor coming in to grace us with her presence. Welcome, Leia Plus Size.
Hey, fellas. How are you?
Hello, Leia.
Doing pretty good.
Hello, Leia Plus Size. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you, too, Scoonie. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good. Thanks.
Great.
Are you ready for your weekly motivation?
Yes.
Oh,
See, when I talked to you in the private chat on me, I had a feeling you were going to be up to something. I had a feeling you were going to be up to something.
Well,
Yes,
you
I'm
know
ready
me
for.
too well. The welcome air is always up to something.
Oh
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I know you really well. I said after I came out, I said after I left the message, I said he's up to something, and I know it. So I might as well prepare myself for my weekly motivation. I just have to
Hey,
see what is
if
up
the
his
guys
sleeve.
get the weekly motivation, so do the ladies.
Yes, yes, and I'm all for weekly motivations.
Equal opportunity motivation.
There you go, Leia, right at the bottom.
So you guys
Mhm.
talk among yourselves. I will look at my weekly motivation.
Oh yeah.
What have you got up
There's
to?
him.
What are you up to? Now that is a weekly motivation right there.
Yep. Here's another one. Mostly these are slideshows, but you know this is
They don't.
that's quadruple the pleasure.
Oh yeah,
Sort of thing is how
That's-
we get pumped for these streams.
yes. Oh, I'm pumped. All right. I'm pumped. All right. That makes my day too. That's a great weekly motivation, especially after work.
Mm,
That's
mm.
a complete
Just
motivation.
unwinding, just unwinding,
Yeah,
just
this is complete.
unwinding. Now here's a
motivation.
video.
I like the.
This is what keeps me motivated to work out right here, right here.
Well, this is this. Wait. Okay. There's one more. This one right here.
That one
I
right
said
there.
there's one more. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Take it all in. Take it all in. You know you
Oh,
need
yes.
you need that.
Do it.
Brian, are you into that too? Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's funny how he says.
Here's your dark chocolate.
I'm still thinking about the ladies
Now-
he showed us earlier. That was
Now,
cool.
do you take your coffee black, Leia? Are you a coffee
think it-
person?
I'll take it. Yeah, cream and sugar and coffee and
Well,
black.
there's a lot
and
of cream and sugar for this one.
I'm all the way. I don't have any.
There's a third one. Well, actually, it's the fourth one. It's the fourth one.
I take all the offers. So
Yeah,
you can't.
yeah.
See, you can't turn down nothing like that. Don't ever turn down anything like that.
I see the Lady of Valor is quite eligible. It's the eligible
Yeah.
bachelorette.
Are your cheeks rosy?
Yeah. They're very rosy.
Especially
me.
this, especially
You can
this
hear.
especially this chocolate bar I just showed you.
Like,
They're
Look,
always.
she's a loss of words right now.
I'm just taking in all the info, you said it's motivation, right? So I'm just taking it all
Yep.
in. You have
Your
to
weekly
take it all in.
motivation.
Yep. You have to take
You want
it all in.
You want
very
a second
calmly.
serving? A second serving of dark chocolate? I'm full. I have one right here. You don't need to call Girl Scouts on this one. Seeds Candy is
Girl
out of
Scouts.
business right now. There's your
They
Seeds
say
Candy
that dark
right
chocolate
here.
has plenty of antioxidants in
They
it.
deliver now. So I picked up your delivery and I've taken it to you. Here's your Seeds Candy right in the fifth one. There you go.
the seas candy.
Candy.
Where do you come up? Where
do you
did you
come up with these
that one?
names?
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Where'd you come up with that one?
Look, I just say what I say and hope it's funny.
Okay, so for the stint of the stream, we can continue to move on, but
Mhm.
I will keep these and I will keep
For
these,
research purposes.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to
With
hold
all-
on to these for research purposes.
with all the others that you have sent me. So I have
Oh yeah,
all the other
go ahead and enjoy your coffee and your Seeds Candy.
all the ones that are in there for sure. So definitely for that. I am.
Now, are you
doing
ready
it
for the
right
Johnson
now.
and Johnson? Wait, no, that's a
Wait
wrong.
a minute.
That's poor
The
taste.
Oh,
That's poor
my
taste.
Oh
God.
man,
That was poor taste.
Oh, good.
What are you talking about, Johnson?
kills me.
No, I meant L'Oreal.
Yeah.
No, wait now. I don't want to distract you guys now. Please continue with your conversation.
No. They get a healthy serving of the amount I show. You get a equal healthy amount. So here you go.
You drove Trooper
Here's
away.
Trooper's fine. He went to go take his weekly peel.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Anyway,
Was it a pill or was it aspirin?
aspirin. So I just gave you Seed Candy, right?
Yes.
Here's Bun Buns.
Buns! Oh my God!
Dominic Powell's here now.
Bun.
There's
I
your
think
Bun Buns.
You had these ready. No, you had these ready.
Nah,
you had these
actually,
ready.
tell you the truth, I'm just picking them up as I go along. This is how rectified I am with this.
Well,
See, the guys-
is great at improvising.
Yeah.
The dudes got it easy because I was already like picking stuff so I can use for reference for fit women. But for you, it's like rapid fire. Like I'm seeing as I'm going. Like, okay, I know she's gonna like this. I know she definitely gonna like this. She definitely gonna like this one. Let's just say I'm a people person. Okay, I know.
It demands only the best.
You are a people person, but you fellas don't know that Friday is a very special day. Do you know what that special day is on Friday the 23rd?
Your birthday?
That's nice. My birthday was actually in January. So,
well, that's how well I've kept up. Wow.
Yes.
Let's keep that in private. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. I shall keep that in private. I'll remind you on Thursday. I'll send the message.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send the message. What?
Okay, so I gave you Seeds Candy, and I gave you Bun Buns.
You are going.
Are you ready for Hershey's Kisses?
Talk about candy's making me hungry.
You are. I'm being distracted. Go ahead, put it in there because
that's Hershey's Caramel. That's Hershey's Caramel. There you go. I guess I'm gonna start using these workout routines. You give me some ideas.
Well, I'm glad to give you ideas. For me, it's like you said, motivation.
Now we can continue.
It's just good to know it's motivation because it's good to know that there's still men out there in the world, and I mean men.
Yeah,
like
just for you know what, I'm gonna share the goods since Victoria fact that was in here too. Victoria, go ahead and check out Hershey's Caramel right there.
He calls it Hershey's
gonna be good.
Caramel. Hershey's Caramel.
Wait, hold on. That might be in poor taste too, because last time I checked, I think Victoria is bisexual, right?
I thought that was Eloise.
I think it was Victoria. Victoria, you can correct me.
I think either way, they're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, they're going to enjoy it. Yeah.
Even if they don't swing that way, they can appreciate that a man full figure is best man, not no limp dick wimpo walking around trying to play out that he's tough.
Yes.
They like looking at men that can kick some ass. If
manly men.
If they don't get their jaws rocking, at least they can appreciate a man that can kick some ass.
I know I do.
Even the guys can appreciate that these days.
There you go. There's our answer. She's straight. So there you go. That's for you, girl. That's for you.
Was it the caramel?
That's the caramel. It was the caramel.
Oh, girl,
so
if you
hope you like some brown sugar. I hope you like some brown sugar. Anyways, shall we continue?
Yes, please.
That's crazy how I'm sharing some bodybuilder dudes, and we're talking about children.
Yeah. That's what I said. But I knew something was coming. I knew something. But please, fellas, don't let my presence interrupt you. You sound like you had
we start off with singing our praises of Home Alone, and y'all hearing the revelation that I didn't really like those movies, or at least I don't appreciate the movies now these days because of petty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when those movies came out, I was grown, so I got to be honest, I wasn't into them the way everybody. I only saw the first one, and the only reason is because I was babysitting and I had to take my little cousins to the film, and they unanimously wanted to see Home Alone.
I waited for Al to say it's not a Christmas movie. It's just a movie that takes place in Christmas. I'm really hoping that Al might say that if they ever do a Home Alone rewatch. It's not a Christmas movie. It's a movie that takes place during Christmas.
That's a total Christmas movie.
What?
Oh yeah.
Home Alone?
It's
Or
just
Yes.
semantics to say that too.
yeah,
to
Home
say that-
Alone is a Christmas film. Yeah, it's a Christmas film. It's a Christmas movie.
Now,
Now,
a
when
moment
you
of silence for Melissa Harris's friend. She has a friend that passed. So take care, Melissa. Get your affairs in order if you like.
Take care,
You know,
Melissa.
like I said, I'm not kidnapping you. So if you got things to take care of, go ahead and take care of those. So definitely appreciate you showing up and letting us know. I don't know if I'm gonna be at the professor stream, but I'll see.
sorry for your loss, Melissa. My heart goes out to you and your family and your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
My condolences to you, Melissa. So hope you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Sending
Now,
prayers your way, Melissa.
So, are you guys naming your favorite kid films or films with kids in them?
We're talking about how well written child characters are, how poorly written they can be, how we don't ignore that there's some bad ones, and even the good eras of movies and films.
Okay.
Trooper was talking about Stand By Me.
Yep, he was bringing that up, and he also recently bring up Goonies. Here you go, Child of Flower. There you go, some more caramel to go around.
Oh my God.
Hey, I got to reward her
Mhm.
for a comment here. See, she says a real man who doesn't kick ass is a real man at all. Vito Corleone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Amen on that. Thank you, Child of Flower. Yes. Thank you.
There
on
you
that
go.
one.
Some brown sugar for you, Child of the Flower. Go ahead and admire that.
Women love it. I'm gonna try to say this as PG-13 as possible, but women find it quite the aphrodisiac to see men kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
That is the best way I can put it, gentlemen. That we do.
Look, y'all may chastise us, but you know what? Secretly, you guys reward us for actually showing off that male dominance.
Yeah.
In any situation. You finger wag us a few times just to remind us, hey, look, let's not next time don't let it come down to that, because I still need you alive.
Yes.
You and your body.
You know, I'm just wondering if they're
Yep.
pushing this toxic masculinity so the ladies of Hollywood can just grab the eligible men.
I would like to see
Maybe.
so.
That's an interesting thought there, Scooney. That's an interesting
Wouldn't
thought.
put it past them. I
got
right
a
now.
true.
Yes.
I've heard everybody talking about this revolutionary movie, Mean Girls, and they're saying it's all true. And it's like, well, maybe they're just pulling a Mean Girls.
Mean Girls is a template for sure.
That is something to think about.
Really makes you think.
Yes, Scooney, you've got us thinking. I
always get people to think.
Yes, that is
A lot
a
of people
thought.
say, "How dare you?"
No.
You made me think.
Use the brain. I
That's
never
one
thought
child
of that way.
character I will never push for a movie. And
Oh,
she
God.
got her own little reality.
No.
documentary show.
No.
I want a Greta Thunberg or Thunberg, whatever how you pronounce it.
Thunberg.
I want that.
Burglar.
I want a movie, but I want Justin Bieber to play her.
I knew that.
Why not? You can pull it off with that lesbian hair he's got.
Oh goodness.
I knew there was a catch for a minute there. Scooney had me worried. I'm like, you actually? Oh, there's got to be a catch. There's the catch. I would admit, Scooney, I would watch it if he was there. I would sit down and see that myself as well, just to see the incredible. Because I was about to say, please God, we do not need a movie. But knowing Hollywood, the way they are, they would give this girl her life story. At what is she, 16, 17?
They may have like a whole autobiography or some crap like that.
Yeah, they definitely would do it, knowing how they worshipped that girl when she came out.
I don't want to leave the dudes out of the loop. So here's your daily dose of weekly motivation, there, gentlemen.
All right, I'm gonna let you gentlemen enjoy
He
that.
is so
No, that's in the public chat.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because I'm showing caramel. I'm always show a Twizzler.
Mm-hmm. So we got here.
I'll share what I showed in the public chat for you guys. There's your Twizzler right there. Pull and peel.
Yep.
Go ahead, guys. Take your time. I took mine. So
Go ahead, Schooner. It's right there in the bottom.
Yes, go ahead, Schooner. Take your time. You won't offend me.
I don't think nothing offends you that much, Leia, unless it's Barbie involved
Oh yeah.
or Cap
All
involved.
right. I'm just going to have to mute my mic for a second. Okay, I'm back.
That was great.
There's your Twizzlers pull and peel. There you go.
Remember that
You can never say I don't do anything for my crew. You can never say I don't do anything for my crew.
I cannot unhear school.
Y'all working. Y'all welcome. Y'all welcome.
I was thinking something else, but I'll keep that to myself when he said mute his mic.
No. Share.
Oh no,
Look. I love my wife. Trust me. If anything to do with my wife, you know I love my wife. I put my wife's face on bodies, definitely. It's like she ain't my wife, but you know my wife is that in my head.
Yep.
In my head, my wife is that.
Mm-hmm.
That lady
She don't
there.
sometimes see it, but I tell her like that, like this is how I see you, all day, every day.
Well, you're her husband, so that one you can pass with that. I think she would appreciate that. Does she appreciate it?
Yep, I tell her like
Okay.
like I look. I use these for references for my characters, but every time when I do look at these photos, I say, this is how I see of you. Above all else, every single day. This is how I see my wife: strong, fit, healthy.
Well,
And
you get a pass. That's acceptable. Because
Man is a true gentleman.
If you are, no, seriously, you can let it know, because if you're thinking of her and that's how you see her, then that's how you should be doing it. It's not you looking at someone else, wanting someone else. It's you seeing her. So you get a pass with that. So that's admissible. That's absolutely admissible.
And of course, I'm always looking for ways for her to work her body out, because she's always talking about, I need to work out, or I need to get healthy, or I'm always aching. It's like, well, this is I'll if I can pull up some stuff that you can do that won't tax your body, I will.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always looking around, like finding ways to get her to exercise.
Right.
Though she does exercise here and there, but she doesn't exercise nearly enough as I do. So I try to get her motivated to do that. Not because I expect her or want her to, just for the sake of health. It's all I'm saying, just for the sake of health.
Yeah,
Get
I
functionally
understand.
strong.
Yes, sure, absolutely. I get it.
Precisely.
Yes,
Mhm.
I get it. It's all worth it for that. I get it. So I can understand with that. But along with
But
that,
yeah.
I was,
But again, we'll get back on topic, guys.
I am refocused.
This is what you guys signed up for, okay? We
Hey,
go
I'm not
off
complaining.
topic every once in a while.
I
We
never
have to take a little
complain. I
break
enjoy it.
momentarily. I know
I
it's
revel.
gonna enjoy it.
I revel in this.
We've silent poor trooper. I think we've scared him away.
Nah, Trooper just being a
I'm still
wallflower.
here. I'm still here.
Oh, okay. We're sorry
Trooper
about all
just
our
being-
drool. We're
Yeah.
sorry about our drool fest troop, but we had to give
Oh
him
no.
motivation.
Continue.
No. I'm
Okay.
the person to know that Trooper likes what he likes, so he's secretly liking something off screen that he likes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have
Oh,
to. Trooper,
Trooper,
doesn't
don't
have to-
feel bad. I do that sometimes.
Oh.
Did I say that out loud?
No. No, I definitely don't like this person.
Child of the Flower. I think it's to allow their loser sons to not off themselves for being screwed over by Hollywood.
I think at this point they need to tell people. I think we need to tell our children, honey, don't watch TV. It'll rot your brain.
You mean like
So-
they used to back in the old days?
Exactly. I think we need to enforce that now more than ever. Don't watch TV, honey. It'll rot your brain. Don't
So
go on
Trooper
the
was on-
internet.
So Trooper was onto something. Trooper, you want to continue what you were saying? or do you want
no,
somebody else to
no,
take
no.
over?
Continue, guys. You guys are in a roll.
But no. I wanted to hear what he said about Stand By Me because I'm
Oh
really
no.
interested.
Go ahead. Keep talking about your stuff. So.
Oh,
Brian,
I
do you
was-
have something? Do you want to
Uh,
contribute something to the conversation?
I mean, what you
As
mean
far-
like the photos we just saw?
No, child actors, the child
Uh,
characters.
Child characters. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
that's a good one.
You know what? We haven't gone into.
That was funny.
Yes, Brian said about
I just let my
Yes,
reaction dip on child.
Yeah. Anyway, let's think of what child characters haven't we talked about yet? There's quite a few. Like, should
Well,
we go?
Well,
actually,
I mean, it just depends on what
I
you
might as well
guys
just lead
were
off
all
with
going to
this
talk
then.
about. Because for me, I mean, my thing that I was going to bring up is that the child adventure film is something that's very unique to the 1980s that you're not going to find in the 2020s. You're not going to find it in the mid 2000s or the early 2000s. By the early 2000s, they had already changed. So.
Mm-hmm.
It was already
Mhm.
populated by Spy
And you
Kids.
don't find any decent children's films in terms of early 90s or mid 90s, late 90s, because what you're finding is that crowd had already started to grow. So Hollywood also started to more or less create films as this particular audience was growing up. So I mean, at that point, you started getting uh, films like Jawbreaker, Clueless. A lot of the cult teen films were in the 90s.
Well,
Yeah.
that was the irony
Kind
because
of
in
went
the
into
eight.
the early 2000s, and then we went into a different direction. So
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
really, quite honestly, we're regressing because in the
Yeah, we
80s
are.
we had those kids, like Trooper was saying, those kids films. The 90s we had those teen cult films, but that was still for that generation who grew up with those 80s kids films
Yeah.
because they were moving
That's
into
true.
teenagers. And
Yeah.
then we got 2000s, we got the quote unquote young. Then they decided, okay, now we needed to inject the preteen. They didn't go forward with the adulthood. They jumped right into the preteen genre.
Yeah.
Well, if I could add, if you guys don't mind, that's very good points because I don't know how far we're going back. For me, if you want to talk about the ultimate kid film of the 80s, for me, I was a reader too, so it were books. So I would, the Chronicles of
You bring up
Narnia.
books.
The Chronicles
yeah.
of Narnia is the first thing I would bring up. The
Mhm.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh yeah.
And I can't think of the children that went on that venture. I can't think of their last name. It slips
The
my
pi-
mind.
Peter,
The-
Susan,
Yeah,
Edmund, and Lucy.
and Lucy, those children. Now I read that book, and because I spent a lot of time, I guess I kept to myself like I was a geek, and there wasn't that many geeks around where I was, so they didn't have the same interest I have. So I read a lot of books, and that was meant for children. And that one I read from head to toe because of the adventures of the children of Peter, of Susan, and Lucy. And then back in the day, in my time, they had a thing called a mini series. And a mini series was now it's called binge watching now. But back in the day, it was called a mini series where some books were made for television into a mini series. And they did this wonderful adaptation of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe as an animated series over a period of 2 nights.
Mhm.
And I particularly liked
You're not late, man.
I particularly could relate to the youngest one, which was Lucy, because Lucy was the one that had to convince the others that Narnia was real, and she had, and that the creatures that she met were real, and to have faith in those creatures. And I guess that's kind of how I saw myself, you know. So I really enjoyed those stories, and then what the issues with her brother Peter, and when he gets to Narnia, and the White Queen, who I think is the villain of that story, and how eventually they helped to defeat her. Now, of course, we know it became a live action movie, which I thought was okay, style wise and visual wise. It looked great, but I did feel like it had the unfortunate of coming out after Lord of the Rings.
It had the skin of Narnia, but not really the soul of it, is what you mean to say.
Well, the thing
yeah,
is,
that's
you know,
exactly. That was
the
exactly.
thing is with these films, and this is where I did not subsequently want to touch the 2000s because of this problem. The problem with these films in the 2000s is that now we were portraying stories where more or less you had absent family homes, like Harry Potter. Same thing with Chronicles of Narnia, because it obviously serves a purpose. But especially with Narnia, a lot of the Christianity implications was left out.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, that's another
In the-
problem.
And here's the thing: you also subsequently got that later on with the such films as A Wrinkle in Time, which completely cut
Oh,
Christianity out
Oh, that was
completely and doesn't really tell a story. It's just there. But going back
don't
to
even get me started. I haven't watched that movie, but I
that
saw.
was an insult.
I read the
Yeah,
book.
heard of it, but I
me,
never
me too,
watched it.
the
Scooty.
whole point.
I read the book too, Scooty.
I read the book,
Children
and when I
adventure
saw
film.
that they were going to make a movie, I outright refused because there was no way modern day Hollywood could make that movie.
And I was like you. There was no way in the devil I was going to see that trash dumpster fire with that Ava DuVernay, whom I did not like. She told that was the movie. That movie you guys saw, that was not the movie. That was not A Wrinkle in Time. That was Ava DuVernay virtue signaling. That's what she was doing. I didn't mean to
Be
interrupt.
a warrior.
As they say, but as they say, this movie was not made for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when Brie Larson went on her tantrum, thinking that she
No,
could.
when I looked at that movie and I looked at the second trailer, the second trailer came up. I was like, oh, they're gonna prop up this black little girl that we're never gonna hear from ever again.
Yeah.
Because that's probably gonna be her only film debut that we ever see her in. And of course, this movie is not gonna do as well as they think they think it's gonna do.
Oh, it bombed.
Like it's got the what's that one song they play for the second movie? Beautiful Just the Way You Are, or whatever.
I don't know. I didn't see it. So if they did, I don't know. I didn't want anything to do with that.
But like
film.
when I hear Oprah say "Be a War," I was like, oh no, I'm not watching this.
I didn't watch what I saw. Oprah. I'm like, I know this is gone. They got Oprah in this thing. And Oprah probably never read. Knowing Oprah, she probably never read the book.
Oprah.
I saw a snippet of it.
Oprah does not read. That's like fantasy. She doesn't. Oprah does not read fantasy. That's not her genre of books. Oprah's books are philosophy and
not even very good philosophy either.
You know what? That's a good nickname for her, Oprah.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
like Oprah. I never heard anybody pronounce her name that way.
Is it Oprah or Oprah?
Is it Oprah? But Oprah works as a nickname, like because she's an oaf.
Yep.
She is not into, just like she does. She never read Lord of the Rings because one time she had the two Orlando Bloom and Liv Tyler on her show, and she was interviewing them
for certain.
And I was sitting there going, I bet you, I wanted to be in the audience so bad. I said, Oprah, did you read the book? Please tell me, but you probably didn't read the book.
This is also another reason why I am not looking forward to Amazon's Lord of the Rings, because they're trying to turn it into Game of Thrones. No, Lord of the Rings is not Game of Thrones, and then that's also
Game of Thrones was the reason. Lord of the Rings was the reason Game of Thrones was made.
Invested in this content because again, it's not made for you.
No, exactly.
That just seems to be everybody's problem that people keep spurging on is you keep clinging to these franchises that have moved on to a different subset of viewers.
Well, and that's the thing too. I think Sound Engraver said this once. I don't think anybody's really demanding for this nostalgia. I think they see the hype this nostalgia brings. Then they try to bring it up here and they market it for this older fans, and so the older fans can hook in the new fans. And when the product is released, they find that the product is littered with just talking point politics and woke agenda.
It reminds me of Puzzle Place when they first had the TV.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this show called Yikes came on, and they turned around and they said Yikes. It was basically like that, and it's just nothing but just a bunch of idiots just going, yikes, you scare me. Yikes, yikes, you scare me. Yikes. I was like,
Then Family Guy
ahead of the curve.
And then Family Guy did it with this guy who just randomly comes up and kicks you in the crotch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're making another Jackass, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I looked at that, I was like,
Like,
you
why?
motherfuckers are too old for that shit now. Y'all need to
That's what I'm-
stop.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
can.
They
It's all
can't
just
do it
$1,000.
anymore. They're all beat up from doing all those stunts all those years ago. They did it
And I
again.
think
We'll
one
probably
of
kill
them
'em.
actually didn't. One of them actually die because
Oh,
he,
God.
It's
Ryan.
about nostalgia dollars with a lot of these
Yeah.
other franchises that are.
Is Johnny
more
Knoxville
like
still
Tarzan
leading the
Flying
charge at
Planet
all?
Yeah,
with
he is. I
maybe
think it was. I think it was
early
Ryan.
90s.
I think it was Ryan Dunn who died because he got into a car accident.
Oof.
Oh, not a stunt? Okay.
Yeah, not a stunt. And I'm like going, dang, that. Well, just a reminder: stuntmen can die too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of them do it on freak accidents or natural accidents, if you call it that.
Mhm. Yeah, didn't like Owen Hart die from like an accident? Well, in going to the ring on a wire, a la
Yep.
Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm. And if I recall, on the Dark Knight as well, one of the stuntmen of the Batman actually died because his stunt wire got wrapped around his neck, snapping it instantly.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Ouch. If I may jump back for a few comments, if you guys don't mind. I'm sorry, I had to
Yeah,
step
yeah,
away.
yeah.
I had to okay.
Go ahead.
It's about what comments that Trooper and Schooner made about the Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and the Chronicles of Narnia. I do all of you both. I agree with both your points. And Trooper, when you made the comment that when they did the live action version of the Chronicles of Narnia and why I felt it was empty. Oh yeah, child of flower. You can see me. It was made for me, and I didn't want it, so you knew it was bad. But
It wasn't made for me. I'm 34 and black, and I didn't even care about it.
Yeah.
And
And
Oprah's face is on it too, so nope.
And it's a great book. It is a great book, and she butchered it. And I put all that on Ava DuVernay.
The one thing I said to the Sound Engraver in one of her streams that turned her off, I said, you know, Reese Witherspoon turned into a flying salad.
Oh, good grief.
A flying lettuce leaf or cabbage leaf. She's like, what? I was like, yep. I even posted a picture of it on the Professor Facebook group just to emphasize what was in that movie. And she was like, this is just disheartening. I was like, yep.
It is. It's a great book, but Ava DuVernay butchered it with her identity politics. That's basically what she did.
Since we're talking about child characters in this one, let's go over the characters that are present in that movie. Since we brought up Wrinkle in Time, so you notice now, even after this movie and later movies, all the girls are super propped up in these later movies. The boys barely do anything, and if they do, it's so little compared to what the girls are doing. Like the boys are doing the bare minimum, whereas the girls are doing the maximum. And I saw that. I kind of saw this in We Can Be Heroes 2 as well, but like they kind of balanced it out in that movie, sort of. But at the end of the day, the girl was the leader of the bunch at the end of the day. And you got one girl that's like super strength if she I guess if she thinks about it. You got one girl that can make monsters out of crayon pictures. You got one that can freeze things. I think that movie's powers were all over the place. By the way,
Well, in the book, and I'll get to your point. Well, I just want to say about Crypt Trooper, that was one of the reasons why I think I didn't like the live action version of Chronicles of Narnia, because they sucked out the Christianity, and that was a part of that of
it was
the
vague.
writers. Yeah,
it was vague in the movie.
In the book, it's very clear. It's symbolic, but you get it. But it's not in your face, but you get it. In the book,
I think at that time they weren't trying to offend the Christians, not really those who are non-religious.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were trying to just.
But I even give it to C.S. Lewis for that one, because the book, The Chronicles of Narnia, was because he was a a Christian apologist throughout his entire life because he didn't believe at first, and then he became he found his faith again. He got religion, and
Mm-hmm.
the rest of his
Born
life
again.
he was trying to make amends for that. That's what the Chronicles of Narnia and a lot of his subsequent stories afterwards were all about.
Yeah, that's right. And
That's
that's
one
for
way of
people
putting
that
it.
get funded. Yep, that's one way of putting that. First of all, Gamer, yes, ABC did an adaptation of it, and that animated adaptation is better than the live action movie. Now
Mm-hmm.
back to the point you were making, Wolf. In the book, A Wrinkle in Time, it wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
The girls and the boys worked together. It wasn't just the girls were the
Take
key
my
to
hand
everything.
and everything will be fine.
Yeah, it was never like that. That's Ava DuVernay's doing, but that was not like that in the book. Each one of those characters, those kids had a part to play in the trying to rescue their father. So
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
like Trooper, you were just saying. They're trying to take these classic books that were made in the 70s and the 80s. They're not adapting them the way the author intended. They are taking them because they're too lazy to create their own stuff. And they're trying to adapt them with their own identity politics, just like Ava DuVernay. Instead of sitting down and writing her own story, she
Yep.
decided to take another person's story and change that to fit her own politics,
Yeah.
identity politics,
Yep.
because she probably thought that some audience would be too stupid to know that there was a book called A Wrinkle in Time, because she probably thought it was so old that nobody would catch it. But I caught it.
Oh, everybody knew about that book. I personally did
Everybody
not know
heard the name
it.
at least.
But like again, my the only thing I was gleaming from the trailers and the teaser.
Mm-hmm.
The teaser kind of made it seem like they were together on this, like everybody's gonna do the equal amount of contribution to their part in the story, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But then when you get that full trailer, I'm like, oh, then this is a pass. Then I'm not watching this because I'm not finished to look. It's not that I don't want to see women taking charge. It's the fact that it's propped up
Mm-hmm.
as the important thing. Women should always take charge. No,
Mm-hmm.
everybody is supposed to contribute.
Which
Right.
makes no sense because I've read the book, and no offense, the main character didn't always know what the right decision was,
Right.
and was willing to defer decision making to, I think, was it Calvin or Charles? Two or two other compatriots.
Yeah, there were two other.
Yeah,
I can't think. I'm trying to look it up right now.
there was. I do know. I just don't know which was which. I know they're named Calvin and Charles, and one of them's her brother. I think it's Charles is her brother, and Calvin's the Calvin's the one guy she kind of butts heads with, kind of like the whole proto Ron and Hermione deal.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That was what
They're,
that was about.
they're
Yeah.
trying to do a whole. They're trying to do everything under the sun for that movie.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like true. It goes back to what Trooper was saying. The books and novels that I read when I was growing up, they are like Harry Potter is more of the generation like my nephew generation. He liked the movies. I had to take him to see the movies because he liked them when he was
Mm.
young. I get it because that's of the now, but
Right.
there's still. I've read some article. God, I was reading something about some issues some people have with Harry Potter. It's not just the witchcrafty thing.
Well,
That's
what it
just
is,
crazy.
you know,
It's some other issues with
well,
children.
again,
and
what it
stuff.
is, and I think again, people tend to kind of wander off the reservation, be a little bit more myopic about stuff like this. Going into the 2000s, what you're seeing is secularization of themes and story writing. So, you know, taking stories like the Chronicles of Narnia and taking stuff like A Wrinkle in Time subsequently later on and taking sacred themes out because they are no longer acceptable in modern
Yep.
society.
They're trying to see
And,
how
you know,
can I fit it
and
into
all
an
it is,
intersectional
well,
or
what's
critical race
happened
theory
is
type of deal.
they've managed to more or less inject social narratives, meaning thinking about the group as opposed to thinking about thinking of yourself as an individual, making choices for the betterment of the group as opposed to making the ultimate choice that would better or improve your life. So we've gone from these individualist storylines into more of a socialist narrative, if you will.
A collective consciousness.
So that's why I wanted
Yeah.
to kind of steer
Yeah.
away from the 2000s, because I knew it would more or less devolve into a 20-minute diatribe. So the whole point
Which you love
about
doing.
the whole point about these 80s films is it's unique to the time. You're not going to get anything else like this anymore. Um, you know, you got
You will,
films
just
in
in
science
independent
fiction like
circles.
Explorers, and then of course you ended up getting a very dark story when it comes to Stand By Me, but it comes off as a almost like a adventure or a coming of age film.
Yeah.
And you know, my whole thing with Stand By Me is that it really did have an ensemble cast of child actors. You had Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, you had Jerry O'Connell, and you know they actually worked very well together. And you go on this adventure. You know, this is one of the few films that I actually do remember seeing. Like, you go on this adventure with Gordy LaChance, and the thing is while you're going on the adventure with Gordy, he's not necessarily the main character. I mean, obviously, in the third person, he's telling the story, but I mean, you know, the main character really is all four kids. It's Gordy, it's Chris, it's Teddy, and it's Vern.
Right.
Because you're going on an adventure. And you're going on an adventure together, ironically, very darkly, to go and find a dead body. So, and I mean, it was based off of a Stephen King film, but it doesn't feel like a Stephen King movie. So, and this was directed by Rob Reiner. So, you
Oh
know,
yeah. What
the
about him?
the families in this film are dysfunctional. You have Gordy's parents getting over the loss of their older son. You have, Chris Chambers' family, who sound like, they're the town deadbeats, you know. And then of course, Teddy's father, who obviously is in an asylum from what you get from the story, but you don't really get a lot of uh like the background on Vern's parents. But they come together and they're almost like a little band of brothers. Subsequently, at the very end of the film, you find out, just like any other friendship, friends kind of steer away and go their own way. Uh, Gordy and Chris do end up having the more lasting of the child friendships. And subsequently, you find out more about Chris's character towards the epilogue. But um, what I was going to bring up is that, movies like Goonies and Stand By Me, and also the imagery that you saw in Explorers, really did contribute to what you got in Stranger Things back in 2016. That's why it was so
Agreed.
popular, because it went back to those 80s child adventure films, and you get a lot. Like, if you actually look at the Goonies and you look, and you juxtapose it to Stranger Things, you do get a lot of that. And then, of course, the bikes are very evocative of ET. I didn't bring up ET purposely because obviously there's an alien. It's a child alien film. I wanted to just keep it to just straight, children's characters, and not necessarily bring ET into it, because ET brings in a whole different narrative
Yeah.
of
Mm-hmm.
it, of
Well,
it
oops on me,
becoming
'cause
almost
that's-
like a child thriller film, if you will.
I was about to mention E.T., but I get you.
Yeah. I was gonna. Where does a Goosebumps fall into this? That was
Bad
all.
That was
child
later
directing.
on. That was later on. That was like, I think that was around the 90s.
Hayden Christensen was in it too.
You
I
In
was
one
know,
of the
thinking of the
episodes.
books, not the movies.
you
The
know.
books is more of a
Well, I know it's more horror than adventure.
suspense, definitely. Suspense comes to mind.
It
It
was
does.
it was suspense. I mean it because I did a workshop with kids on the Goosebumps books. We would workshop
Mm.
them and we did them, and because the idea was to encourage them to read, and I did it through the Goosebumps books. But my interpretation was suspense that fit their age, because I mean, for those that are a certain age, still like
Right.
to get scared, but not too much, but just enough to give them the right spook. But when we acted it out, they saw it a whole lot different when we acted out the stories. But it was just enough. I mean, I don't know if I'm on the right page, Trooper, but it was scary, but it was appropriate scary, because a lot of them wanted to be scared. A lot of them said, "Yeah, please, we want to do that." So you guys sure? Yeah, we want to. So
You ever notice that Goosebumps was like a modern day Grimm fairy tales? Most of the kids that got in trouble in those books were always, troublemakers, bullies, all that kind of stuff.
right.
It was
Reminder.
it was a reminder. It was like a modern day Grimm fairy tale, like reminding them, don't listen to your parents, don't talk to strangers, don't steal. And they were getting into some very mature themes as well.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
I think there was even
Don't-
one where the main character dies in the beginning and then has to save this other kid from suffering the same fate. I think that was
Exactly,
the
yeah.
Ghost Next Door, I believe it was called.
hmm Or having to deal with a secret like the Werewolf of Beaver Swamp.
Or the Monster Blood series. Those were really.
Oh, Monster Blood. Yeah. Those
I mean,
were really good.
at the very end of the day, Stranger Things did end up pulling from a lot of these children adventure films.
That
I mean, the
ultimately
parallel
led to
being that E.T.
downfall.
and L more or less serve as uh, the
Like the
I
genesis
don't want
of
to
it
say
all.
supernatural, or more of the science fiction-y portion of that narrative.
Yeah, and what I liked about E.T. was that, yes, while the story was about the alien, it was really the story about Elliot and his relationship with his family.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I took from it too. It was Elliot and the alien, but also
Have you ever came across any criticism
family.
of that, criticizing that type of trope?
Mm,
No.
Not
No.
that I can recall. No, not that I
No.
recall.
Because
And
we've gotten away from these types of films. We don't tell these films
Well,
anymore.
what's kind of unfortunate too is, first off, E.T. is based on a book. Anybody check it out? Apparently, goes much more in depth. Like, for some reason, E.T. has a fear of keys, because when he sees the adults with keys, he thinks those are teeth.
Ooh.
And also it's what drew Spielberg to the project, to the script,
Is
was
that why they
Spielberg.
keep zooming in on on those keys when the guys
Mhm.
came in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a reference to the book, I suppose.
Yeah, he was afraid.
Mhm.
Exactly. The alien was afraid because he thought that they were hunters and the keys were teeth of their previous kills.
And the reason that's true, and also the reason Spielberg was drawn to that script is because Spielberg parents were divorced when he was young, and he took it hard. And Elliot's parents are divorced. So I think, and Spielberg admitted this, he was communicating his childhood through that movie. I think that's why that movie was such a huge success, was because, and he said this himself in an interview, he was telling his story through Elliot's eyes, so to speak, because his parents divorced when he was young, and he
At
took
least
it
he
hard.
wasn't like Michael Crichton.
But that was also something interesting too, is that what I liked about those stories, and Steven Spielberg, he says, and he hasn't said it exactly like this, but I guess this is what I'm taking from it. He wasn't telling this story to make us sad, and he does not look back on his childhood horribly. He loves his life. He was happy with his life.
but rare is the day that he doesn't remember that little boy who didn't have a father growing up, and he was tired of remembering it that way, and he wanted this, and that's what we do also as writers and storytellers. I mean, that's what fiction is supposed to be. We can change the past in fiction. We can.
And it's a universal theme, Scooney, because as you know, it was a universal blockbuster. Everyone of all ages, even when my nephews were young enough to watch it, they loved it. So what he did, you're right, it's very different than the filmmakers today. You could make ET today. Writers do it today. They would say, "I will kill the whole family," but they wouldn't write it like that. So.
Well, but you also have to think about it too. Elliot is reflected.
Elliot will be Ellen.
Yes.
In the new movie.
What's crazy too is the fact that Elliot is also alien and foreign in his own life, and that's what E.T. is a projection of. Elliot feels isolated and alone.
Yes, you can see that clearly. Yeah, I agree. That's what I kind of took for it too. When I look back on it years later, that a lot of that was I got the same reading from that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why a lot of kids took to it, and I think that's why a lot of adults took to it. And mostly because it really was a film, and this was true when it was out, when I was seeing it. Parents would leave their kids in the theater to watch it because they knew they would watch the film. So you would have theaters where you had families, you had adults, but also little kids were being left there to watch it. And the kids would watch it. They wouldn't be on their phones or their computers. They would be, what'd I do, gamer? Oh, I'm okay. They would be sitting there. No, I'm fine. They would be sitting there and they would be watching it, and they could relate to it. So it's like what it does, and what Spielberg did with that is it didn't talk down to the kids. He talked at the kids, but he didn't talk down to them. He got on their level, but it didn't degrade the kids.
There's no earthly way of knowing which direction they are going. There's no
Willy Wonka.
Or which way the river's flowing. Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is a hurricane a blowing? Now a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing. All the fires of hell are glowing. Is the grizzly reaper mowing? Yes, the danger must be growing, 'cause the roars keep on rowing. And they're certainly not showing any sign that they're slowing. Ah!
Willy Wonka is
that would be the moment, and that's the moment where everybody, and then the movie goes back, and the entire audience is like, "What the hell did I just watch?"
That was the way I was when I saw it. I'm like, "What in the world was that? I thought this was a kid's film."
And then we have a live.
Yes, it would be. It would definitely be a coming of age for Smalls, Victoria Factbout, for the Sandlot. Yes,
it would not be considered a child adventure film. It's considered comedy. A lot of early '90s child films were all comedy.
Yeah. But what the thing is,
because
with
we
the
got
Sandlot,
away from telling mature themes, or we got away from telling adventure films, and we more or less caricaturize the child character, if you will. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that was on Sandlot, Stand by Me, and Goonies were more ensemble movies where every character kind of more or less went through an arc. And by the end of the film,
well, I mean, look at what they were doing. I mean, in '91, you ended up getting Hook, and then
Hook was amazing.
And then from there, after Sandlot, you ended up getting like Dennis the Menace in '93. And if you would consider Last Action Hero a child's film, I mean,
or that Chuck Norris film,
that's more of a action film. And then, I mean, subsequently, like again, like you see the changes in where you go with it. So
going back to Neverending Story real fast, who do you think was the best Bastion?
Oh, the original.
The original. Oh, that's a classic. I've totally forgot that one. Yeah, the first one. The original one was the
The
best
sequel
one.
had a different Bastion.
Mhm.
The sequel
I was
film.
asking. I'm saying specifically, which actor was the better Bastion?
The first one.
The first one, in my opinion.
I figured.
It's not taking
Love that
anything
movie.
away. It's not taking anything away from the actor who played him in the second movie. It's just it was a bad script.
That's what I
Yeah.
was about to say. That it was a bad script. It was. It was. It was
They
a
even changed the
sequel.
dad.
Mm-hmm.
The dad came from looking like a lawyer to looking like a buff a fucking tree cutter.
Well,
What I found hilarious was I liked the dad in the second movie more than the first one because the dad in
I
the
know,
second
because
movie,
he became a freaking muscle bound tree cutter. I'm like, bruh, you ready to go down and cut some trees or trim some trees down, man?
or become a pro
Where your
wrestler.
gym at?
it was
Take me
also
to your
because of,
gym.
it was
Oh,
also
yeah.
because of the sequel. The dad was actually trying to make a connection with Bastion, whereas in the first one he looked like he really didn't care.
Like he was just like hurrying off to work and stuff. I'm like, bruh, that's your kid. He getting bullied every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like how in the sequel he was like actually reading the book and he's reading not the lines and
Yeah, he was being a more active parent.
I think the most memorable one was for me is like he knew that as punishment for killing Atreyu, he would die himself. That line. That hit hard.
I even loved the one line when that was like the
Trying to see a
standout line
photo of the dad from the sequel.
The one standout scene I loved from the sequel was when the dad was yelling in the book, "Bastion, jump! Face your fears, jump!"
And he celebrated when he finally when the Bastion finally jumped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to get away from the danger, trying to get to him, and he jumps and he's like, yes! I was like, I was with him right there. I was like, yes!
That was the super.
That's a dad for you.
I'm looking at him like, bro, that was the hero of the hour of that sequel.
Yeah, he was. That's why I love the dad.
He was going out of his way looking for his son.
Mm-hmm.
Went to see the what you call it.
He went everywhere to see where he could find him, even the library, and then he finally decides to actually read the book to see if he. And at first, he's reading the book not because Bastion was.
You want to know why we like him? You want to know why we like him? Because that's the motherfucking Flash.
Yeah,
I was waiting for that.
That's it. I knew, and I was like, I'm gonna kick myself when I find out he was the Flash. That's why.
And he was Jay Garrick in the Flash show, the best Flash out of that whole series, looking just like the comic.
Yep,
exactly. Yes, I remember the TV show.
We can do a stream about dads one of these days.
Yeah, I was going to say even though I didn't love the second one, the beauty of the second one is here we have a film where we have a positive view of a father and a father being a good dad, and we don't see that now. Oh, they're so hard on dads now.
That may be the film's one redeeming quality: the fact that it portrayed the dad in a good light instead of just as a deadbeat.
Yeah,
and I love that too when he's picking up the book and he's reading it not because Bastion had it or something like that. He was reading the book to maybe get a clue on where his son was.
You know my favorite line of his? Wait, I'm in this? Like the more they mention the father, he's like, wait, I'm in this?
I would like to suggest, and I'm going to put it in here, guys. Has any of you ever heard or watched a movie called The Fall?
The Fall. Name sounds familiar,
the one with Bill Paxton.
No,
that's Frailty.
I think Frailty. I watched Frailty.
The Fall. I will put the link into it in description. The movie stars Lee Pace. Lee Pace eventually went on to play King Thranduil.
Yeah.
But he got the role of King Thranduil by playing this character called The Fall. I don't want to distract. I'm going to put a description in the private chat here and a few pictures. It is he's in it, but the basics of it is the story revolves around a little girl in a hospital in Italy. An actor is in there. He had an accident on the set of a movie. The film is set in the 1920s, but he has accident that he has to go to the hospital. It's a possibility he could be paralyzed.
Right.
And him and the little girl become friends, and they become inner friends by the actor played by Lee Pace.
I'm gonna say it right now, whoever's still married to this man, good on you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm still looking at John Wesley shit right now. Like this,
okay.
this is a man I would like. This is a man I want to aspire to be, body and all. Look at that win. I mean, look at that winning smile he had. I gotta have that winning smile. I need to develop that winning smile. I'm gonna give you one of his best sides right now. Just right now for Leia in the chat.
How's that for the inspiration of heroes, huh, guys?
How can you resist this winning smile?
If anybody in the chat has seen The Fall, let me know. Anybody in our chat and our show today has seen it or
there you go,
heard
Victoria.
of it.
All for you. That winning smile right there. Look at that. Look at that. He could be.
Yeah.
He could have been Johnny Cage.
Could have been a number of different characters, really.
Yes, a lot of different characters he could have been. Yeah.
Superman. Hello.
Superman.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind him being a super. He got that.
That's true. He could be a super. Yeah, he's got that square jaw and everything.
He could have been Batman.
Oh, took the words right out of my mouth there, man.
A darker version of Adam West Batman, if need be.
Yeah.
Bruh, he could have been. You know what? He would have been my Green Lantern. He would have been my Hal Jordan.
Oh, definitely.
Oh my goodness! Look at that
definitely
square.
Better than
it's
Ryan
that square
Reynolds.
John or freaking an agent Booster Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a military man. Look at him.
I wouldn't be surprised if he played a few military movies.
Didn't he play Randall Flagg in The Fall? Oh, not The Fall. In Stephen King's The Stand.
Maybe.
Leia, just a quick question about The Fall. Isn't he bonds with the little? Is it a foreign movie?
I want to do something.
I think she walked away for a bit.
Yeah, she said, "Be right back, guys."
Oh, okay. What was I going to say?
Quick aside for Victoria's question.
Yeah,
it's
Victoria.
my favorite Peter Pan movie. I like it way more than animated movie, actually. Most because Peter Pan finally fucking growed up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, Robin Williams was playing Peter Pan in that one, if I remember right.
I'm just saying. Like that was my main issue with Peter Pan. I can't stand his man childness.
Yeah.
That's a metaphor for
hear
a
that.
man child right there.
I like the movie too because the way the kids were utilized. Once again, Spielberg is great with his kid actors. He utilized it because it's not so much the story about the kids than it is about Pan. And but I still love the kids because he did grow up just like everybody wanted him to, and now it came at a cost.
Yep.
Because he's too busy now for his kids. I especially love that sequence where the wife takes the cell phone and throws it out the window and tells her.
Go ahead, Skinner.
She says, "Your children love you and they want to play with you. Do you have any idea what that means? Because there's going to come a time when they're going to be so busy for you, and you're missing out on those impressionable moments."
Which also reminds me of when he learns how to fly again by thinking of a happy thought, which was when he became a dad.
And they're objectively stupid.
For me, it just takes away from the story. I mean, we start getting into the portion of Hollywood where they're wanting to go ahead and expand on a book or a theme and turn it into a mega franchise. And
instead of wanting
you
to tell,
didn't really see that in the early 90s so much as towards the maybe mid to like late 90s going into the 2000s with the cult teen films. Like I know
You
did
definitely
last
see it
summer.
more in like the
I don't
2000s.
know what you did last summer. You know, Scream 1, Scream 2,
Jingle All the Way.
Scary movie.
that kind of stuff.
yes, Jingle All the Way. Good Lord, that's a guilty pleasure for me.
But the
Turbo
whole
Man knows
point-
my name.
The whole
Who told you you could
eat my cookies?
Jake
the whole
the
point
gift that
to
keeps
these,
on giving.
like 80s films and even going
I got the
maybe
real Turbo Man at home.
I would say with
Now that I
these
think about it,
films,
all those kids
you-
talk
you could
from Robert
literally
Kids talk
take-
just like Jake Lloyd.
you could literally take the adventure with these characters and you know, I would even go as far and say be a kid again through these films.
Yeah.
You really can't do that with subsequent later films because comedy lends itself to just being comedy.
Certain movies, I think, can still,
they don't spark the imagination. I mean, yeah, being home alone while two thieves try to break in and somehow you're smarter than the thieves. Yeah, those are ha-ha films. And they do work within their context of being ha-ha films, but you don't get the excitement of going on a journey with Atreyu, or you don't get you don't get the excitement of
If I could add something to
finding
that,
finding the bullion of One
I'll
Eyed
give you a
Willie
moment,
the Goonies.
Brian.
You don't you don't get to save E.T., if you will, or you don't get to take a trip into outer space with your friends like an explorer.
Brian, go after Trooper.
Okay.
But I mean, that was the main point of why I wanted to bring this up, because we get to 2012, and the only movie I really even thought about critiquing today, if at all, was Brave. Like, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that film because at the very end of the day, it's a mother-daughter film, and it comes at a weird time where 2012 we're not really knee deep into political correctness. We don't start getting knee deep into it till about maybe 2015. I mean, this is like starting to touch upon political correctness and kind of starting to kind of flip a few narratives. So while I could appreciate Brave as a film, and the fact that I even have to use an animated film is terrible, but my whole point is this: is it works within its context of being a mother-daughter film, but since I am not a female, it's not for me. So
I could still find the connection with it. That's probably why I will always say that Brave was one of Pixar's most.
But here's my thing. You could swap that character out with a young man, and it still works because that part is written for a boy, if you will. And this is where we start getting into that weird bubble of now we're literally writing female characters as male characters.
Well, not just that. They write them as male characters and then write them today as literally being so self-sufficient.
Now it's out in the open.
And self-centered.
It doesn't even border on the impossible. It is the impossible, and that's why you can't stretch. You can't take that leap.
Like, as far as Black Widow, I mean, you could insert Hawkeye. And
I knew we were going to circle back to this.
You know what I mean? But that's what I'm getting at with Brave. Like, it's about a daughter and a legend, and then trying to save the mother. It would literally work with a young boy as opposed to a young girl. You wouldn't be able to do that in the early 80s because you would end up writing a girl's story completely different. I mean, to even look at something like that, I would have to go as maybe think, going into maybe like an 80s teen film, if you will, like Labyrinth. So
Labyrinth.
And that has to obviously be written differently because you obviously write differently for a young girl, especially in 1986, as opposed to how you would write for a young girl now. Now you just literally write everything as a male character and just swap it out. With Labyrinth, it was a little different. You have a young teen who like regrets, her brother to the point of she is now taken on this extended journey, and she goes on the on the female journey as far as Campbell. I mean,
I got a question. What is the difference between the male boy hero's journey and the female hero's journey?
Because the journey is almost always the same in terms of they have to use nature, or they have to learn how to tame nature and bring nature along with them to be able to solve whatever mystery that you're going through. I mean, Sarah had to go through that labyrinth. and she more or less made friends along the way to help her get to where she was going. Like, she didn't start off with a group of friends like most of
No,
the
she
young
didn't.
boy films. Like, she had to more or less, Sarah had to more or less swallow her jealousy for her brother and be a big sister that she was. And in doing
Be the
so, she was
protector.
able to find, the appreciation, the love for her brother in doing that. So, but I mean, these are films that you wouldn't see today. You couldn't write that
Nope.
today.
No way.
Because she would have to be, quote, a strong feminine, or sorry, a strong female character, if you will.
And the minute,
false-
and this is what would
falsy.
kill me is that first off, you were never if they were ever going to remake Labyrinth, it was never going to work. Bowie's gone, and Bowie made the movie.
Well, you could still. I mean, if you want to split hairs with the argument, yeah, that's fine. But I mean, you would have to make more changes to the script now than you would if you were still writing within the context of what that film actually is, and if you could still write an 80s film in 2021, which you can't. But because, I mean, Sarah was delicate for as haughty as she was. Her haughtiness is what got her into this.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
it's just like with again with the male characters that actually share this. In the beginning of the movie, you kind of don't endear the kid character to the audience.
Yeah.
Only through the process of the movie do you come to care for the kid character.
Yeah, and the story itself, and it was directed by Jim Henson. So
Who got Clint, I think, better than anyone.
to get such a lovely film from a puppet creator really tells you just the level of creativity the man had. So
I was back in a time when I said, I want my friends to be puppets. I want puppet friends. Yeah, Sesame Street.
You thank Jim Henson for that one.
Exactly.
Yep.
I want to be friends with Kermit the Frog.
It's like with Black Widow. I mean, she literally
Check out his
starts
TED
and
Talk.
in the same place in this movie that literally is Marvel's first flop. So, and as much as they're going to try to distract from that, that is literally their first flop.
And back to what you
Trooper.
were saying. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Trooper.
Well, I was going to say, talking about female characters, and I said it on MeWe, this is Marvel's first female featured flop because they didn't write anything additional for Natasha Romanoff. She was just there. Basically,
She
the whole
existed.
movie is a plot device for Yelena Belova, who you end up seeing in D+. And what I find to be really terrible is literally trying to link the cinematic universe to D+ is to get people to watch D+ to pump your viewership, which I think is...
And the audience is not stupid. They're basically saying...
Well, no, there is no audience. There is no audience. The audience is the casual viewer who wants to watch the live-action Lady and the Tramp or live-action Jungle Book, which I like the live-action Jungle Book. However...
I'm not going to be sitting through Lady and the Tramp.
Notwithstanding, the rest of the content is just filler content. Because Disney, at this point, is about just cranking out content for those existing franchises without adding any meaningful content, because they no longer have to. They're big enough to be able to do this without actually having to be clever about the writing. Now they can inject political agenda because they made a lot of money off of Endgame and they made a lot of money off of Infinity War. So they stand to get a steady stream of money from Disney proper anytime they want to make a film, as long as it doesn't bomb the way this one is bombing. I don't know if it's going to actually surpass Shazam. I hope it doesn't, because then I can pretty much, say I was right. But we'll see. But I can tell you this: it's definitely not going to pass Ant-Man and the Wasp. So
let's go into the Marvel Cinematics version of Kids real quick.
Quick question. Brian, you were going to say something? I was curious.
Yeah, I think he was going to take over after Trooper.
Yeah, I think I wanted to speak to something Trooper was saying earlier about us getting away from like the imagination of all those kid films, and I think part of that had to do with the shift from like the lighter films to something like darker and edgier, like that we've been seeing. I think Schooner, you might have talked something about this. Came after like 9/11 ish or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shortly after, what was it? After 9/11, there was a real push for more, like you said, darker and edgier stuff, but bad guys who didn't reveal themselves, but were like secret organizations who were infiltrators, like, always there, conspiracy type deal.
Yeah, basically like Hydra and Winter Soldier.
Essentially, yeah. Hydra in Winter Soldier, which did actually come
or
out.
Even like the Umbrella Corporation in the Resident Evil games too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these villains who were hiding in plain sight, who went into the who were manipulating world events.
Yeah, something like. You know what that's making me think of a little bit? VR Troopers. With our Grim Lord.
We are we
Forces of darkness, empower me. Take me back to my virtual reality. Sound familiar, guys?
Grim Lord.
Yep.
We are VR Troopers. You know, since we're talking about Sentai, big bad billboards.
Yes. Definitely, they were kids.
Those kids. I watched Big Billboards again as an adult. I'm like, wow, they really don't know how to write kids, do they?
No, they do not. They're basically like writing them like little Power Rangers, basically.
Well, Metallics kind of did a little bit better. The actress who replaced the original actress for Joe was a bit better,
one, right?
Yeah. Did we call her the red one?
Yeah, she was in red.
Basically,
Drew was in blue, and
bruh, she's the female Beetleborg. That's all you need to say.
All right.
There was, I'm sure there wasn't that many female Beetleborgs aside from Ladyborg, who was white and wasn't even in human form. You had to really clarify the color she was wearing.
Well, yeah, because they had a green and a blue one too.
I know, but what I'm saying is she was the only female Beetleborg.
Is this ragging on the XJ Hobos?
Joe, who was also a cousin to Drew.
Yep.
Oh wow, those John Wesley.
What happened, Leia?
You found some more pictures of John Wesley shit.
Yeah, that's all for you, Leia. That's for you personally. There you go. Enjoy that. Enjoy that brown sugar.
Yeah.
Well, he was a cool Flash. I have to give it to him with that.
He's the only reason why I kept going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really, it wasn't just Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill was there for one or two episodes. That
he was he was some villain on the show.
He was the trickster. He was the trickster.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I loved that. He was a trickster in the '90s Flash, and then they had him come. Then they got him back for one or two episodes when Jay Garrick's Flash showed. No, it's not Jay Garrick. It was the son of the trickster.
Yeah.
He was the son. Yeah, the son of the trickster.
Legacy.
Came back.
They were playing off the legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that ain't enough. Jay Garrick was like the main star of the show.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go. Your brown sugar, your daily dose of brown sugar.
Don't let me interrupt you from the conversation. Sorry,
he's got 10 in the freaking picture. It counts.
Of course it counts. Of course it counts.
Just saying, for my non-existent enemies, it counts.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it counts. It does. I'm sorry. What was the? I was in some of it because I was in my kitchen. But
we were talking about Beetleborgs for a cool spell.
Who?
Yep. The big bad Beetleborgs.
Which is a
okay.
Big bad Beetleborg.
Yep. Yep. What he said.
I actually did like in the series this interesting little switcheroo they got. They actually are friends with monsters, but it turns out what the Beetleborgs are fighting are the true villains, the true monsters, and the monsters are like their friends. I thought that was a little cool.
They were basically an adaptation of Metal Warriors, I think.
Yeah, it
Or
was
Robot
definitely
Warriors?
something out of the Metal Heroes genre.
Metal Heroes. There we go. Metal Heroes. I
Yeah,
think
we
that's
got
what the
that
name
little. We got that. I call it the kitty cyberpunk age.
is.
Pretty much.
Which they used another Sentai for the Metallics season.
Yeah.
Same thing with actually Beetleborgs I think supposedly take place in the same universe as VR Troopers in their own Sentai.
I think so, yeah.
Because wasn't VR Troopers Metal Hero?
I think it was another Metal Hero. I mean, it was a combination of several Metal Hero shows. I remember, I think for Ryan Steele's second form in the second season, they borrowed from this other one, Space Sheriff Scheider, which actually came a lot sooner than the other ones they used.
Mm-hmm. That's a collage of things happening within these Sentai adaptations.
Yeah, it's like untangling a spider web, really.
I will definitely restart another Power Ranger stream because last time I did was by myself.
Oh yeah, now you got more people to talk about it with. You got me, you got Schooner, Trooper, Leia. Leia, did you ever watch Power Rangers as a kid at all?
Every once in a while, I would watch it. I'm not as knowledgeable.
At the risk of pointing a woman's age, I doubt she was around long enough for that, considering what year she was born in.
I knew who they were.
So no offense, Leia.
No offense taken. I knew who they were, though. I wasn't ignorant. I knew who they were. I had nephews, so I knew exactly who they were. So I've seen it, but to say I actually watched the show on my own, I must be honest and say I did not. But I knew exactly who they were. And then the X-Men were a big thing also at that time, and I was totally into the X-Men.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think X-Men and Power Rangers were even on the same network for a while.
Their layer seasons. Well, I will say this: X-Men did come out, but its first 3 episodes aired during prime time, along with the newest season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the second season, which introduced the Thunderzords.
Yeah, I remember that. That was during a summer, if I remember correctly.
I do believe so too, because me, my mom, my cousin, and my brother were watching it all at the same time.
Yeah, I was
during that time.
I think I watched it with my stepbrother and my soon-to-be, at the time, my soon-to-be stepbrother and soon-to-be stepmother. Because my parents had just
they were
divorced.
premiering that. They were very premiering that, and so we stuck around, and she decided to watch it with us.
Yep.
Which one? The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
It was this. Yeah, I remember the episode they showed of the X-Men was the Out of the Past, which you had Lady Deathstrike trying to open that Shi'ar ship, which contained the Spirit Drinker.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, which led to the only and greatest adaptation of the Phoenix Saga, which then led to later. Yeah, but that episode led into it because the Shi'ar ship was what led to Lilandra, and then of course it led to evil Charles Xavier. You know that.
I created the X-Men, and what I created, I can destroy.
Good, Ryan. That's great. That's great interpretation.
Victoria says 2 Power Rangers movie led me to find about Power Rangers TV series. I believe it would be the first movie and Turbo Power Rangers movie. Would I be correct? Because it sure as hell wouldn't be the 2017 movie.
Nope. No. We're talking like, I think it was like the first 2 movies.
Around that time, Power Rangers was still going, especially after Disney acquired it, until Saban reacquired it through Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Which is why it still continued to go strong. Disney wasn't really doing much with it after that.
No, not really.
The last series that they did was RPM.
Yeah, I heard RPM had a pretty good reception from the people that actually watched it.
Yeah,
Hey,
I watched it from beginning to end. I loved it.
I want to pose a question to the group.
Hmm?
Did you guys? I know that there wasn't a whole lot of It wasn't. There were no kids around in this movie, but Indiana Jones and the
Short
Last
stack?
Crusade. Say what?
Short stack? You're talking about short stack?
No, I'm talking about the Last Crusade
The Last Crusade.
Young
Indiana
Indy.
Jones. Yeah, young Indy, and then I think I thought that was a great little. I mean, I think he's a teenager at that time, but it was really good at encapsulating in that movie. And I think that was late. That had to have been late '80s. Yeah.
Right.
What did you guys?
Well, Last Crusade came out in 1989.
Yeah, that's okay. I thought so.
Yeah, and that was I know this because I'm telling myself, but it's important because that was the year I graduated high school. Because after I graduated, I went to see The Last Crusade. That was the best graduation gift I ever got. Was running straight to the theater that Friday evening after the graduation to see Last Crusade. But
What year they came out?
1989.
I was born by then.
And that was also the year the first Batman.
No, I was born. I was probably still learning to walk that time.
Yeah.
My brother was born.
And Michael Keaton's Batman came out that summer, so that was a great. That you had Last Crusade and you had Michael Keaton's Batman. But Scooter, to your point, I do like that sequence because it's supposed to be an adolescent Indy. It's supposed to, I guess, show us what molded how the man became to who he was, including why he hates snakes, and also his relationship with his father.
Yeah,
I like it because the sequence didn't run very long. That we really didn't need. I felt we didn't need a whole movie about young Indy. Let's just show this
We
part
did
of
get a
his
series though.
Yeah, a very good one. The only reason I watched is because Harrison Ford made an appearance to tell the story along a few times. So I did. The teenage Indy was cool, but little boy Indy I didn't care for. Those bored me. I didn't care for a little boy Indy, but teenage Indy was much more interesting in the Young Indiana Jones show. And I thought
now
for television,
we got Enola Holmes.
No. We don't want to. Yes, fellas, as a woman, let me agree with you. Enola Holmes is not on my watch list. Oh, good Lord, that is a trash fire. I don't care if Henry Cavill was in there or not.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
As freaking Sherlock Holmes, no less. That was good casting.
Well, okay.
It would never replace Robert Downey Jr., but still.
To be fair, he was lobbying for Witcher season
2. Yeah.
Okay. So wonder he didn't do much in it because, of course, Eleanor Holmes knows everything. She's the greatest ever.
Right.
And Henry
she's
Cavill
so marginalized.
Oh yeah.
Just a quick tangent, guys. Just a quick tangent. I can't stand this type of writing. This type of writing that they make these characters so super intelligent, right? They got all this potential, but they can't really show that potential because something is holding them back.
Can I just also say
there's always something or someone.
I've already written in a story, by the way, and yes, because I'm just that petty. In a story that I wrote a very quote-unquote wokeified story, but if you got to read to the end in order to truly appreciate it, because at the very end, she's telling that story to a group of kids, mostly consisting of boys, and all the boys are raising their hands like, okay, well, if she was so smart and all of this, why didn't she foresee that they would marginalize her in history? If she was so smart, why did she go along with it and, all that kind of thing? And then she says, well, obviously she couldn't make a big fuss because, misogyny. And then another kid raises his hand saying, yeah, but the women's suffrage movement was going on at that time. And if she spoke out, people would have believed her. So at the very end, the group of students come to the agreement that this teacher's a moron and made that entire story up. And clearly was trying to make them feel bad about themselves.
Did you guys
I'm just saying, because every time I see that cringe-inducing, like, oh, the patriarchy, you know, she is so limited, but she did all these wonderful things. And okay, look, I'm going to level with you. I get it. I know that there are stories that were not told that should have been told. In fact, those are actually some of the best stories you've ever heard. The greatest story. I mean, there's a reason why it's called The Greatest Story Never Told. So I get it. There are people out there whose tales are not being heard, and we're now getting a chance to hear their voices. But this is getting ridiculous. Okay, why not we tell the stories?
We're all make believe struggles.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And this, I think even Freud called. Oh, this brings it neatly into my example. Terminator 2, Doctor, what's his name? Doctor, whatever his name says. Sarah Connor is suffering from delusions of persecution, which in that case she was being persecuted, but she was being persecuted, so yes. But that's what the problem I'm seeing with these writers today. They have these delusions of persecution.
Perceived problems.
Like persecution complex.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't, it was in my head, it was dying before it even came out of my mouth. But exactly. It's like, why are you like? They want to embrace the trauma. Why do you want to embrace trauma?
Well, they play victimhood. Yeah. They're playing the victim card. Like you said, they can tell the stories, but they don't have to chop off men's balls to do it and portray every male as somebody that's out to get them or bring them down. And poor little them have been put by the man, and that's why they can't get to what they've done. They don't have to keep doing that. I agree with you, Scooty. I am getting fed up with those victimhood stories. I'm just about fed up when they do these stories. I'm the real brains behind Sherlock Holmes, not Sherlock Holmes. No, you're not. Everybody knows it's Sherlock. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle made Sherlock Holmes.
Everybody wants to be that Armitia from 302.
Yeah.
Don't forget who put you on that throne.
You you ever notice that these stories that say, you know, that forgot the women, I always seem to notice they gravitate towards giant franchise, larger than life characters. Like the real power behind the throne is Enola Holmes. Saying that Enola Holmes is the sister of Sherlock Holmes, and you know Sherlock Holmes is larger than life. You know, I wonder if there's just an agenda.
It is, because the idea is we have to bring him down. Yeah, they have to bring him down to make them shine. I'm disagreeing.
They're rewriting the behind every man saying.
There's a woman, and she's better. She's faster, taller, smarter.
Behind every man is a stronger woman.
Yes. Yeah. Just once, I would love to see a modern female character go against a female villain that isn't somehow redeemable.
We already had that, Brian. They fucked that up too.
They fucked that too? Oh shit!
Raya and the Last Dragon. The fucking villain is walking hand in hand with the bitch at the end.
I mean, one that's well.
So you're telling me that's all of the they're showing us in that movie. Oh, you don't have to beat the villain all the time. All you gotta do is befriend them. Fuck off.
Yeah, let's do one where she actually beats the villainess. You know?
No, you know what that is? Especially when you're seeing the pictures of them together, that's queer coding. She didn't have to beat the villain. She just had to date her.
Yeah.
Good grief.
I'm like
getting added to the toxic relationship pushing.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Leia.
Just the live action Mulan was like that. Instead of taking on the villain in the animated film, they gave her a witch. But in the end, the witch and Mulan decide to become friends and sit down and have tea and rice.
Oh,
and think about how all the men have.
She died. She made a heroic sacrifice.
That's
exactly.
It's that stereotype, that a very bad stereotype.
Show this conversation for now. We'll talk about this another time.
I'm getting back to what I was saying. This leads me neatly back, before we derailed and got to Mulan, to Terminator 6. I thought James Cameron can write kids as well, because Edward Furlong's John Connor was amazing.
Oh, yes. Yes, I agree. Absolutely.
And they want to write him off as an edgy teenager. Fuck off.
But they did it they wrote him edgy, but in a good way, in my opinion, because he comes off as juvenile delinquent, and he thinks like in any other movie, he would be the one who would like know exactly what to do. First, John Connor would be Jonah Connor, and she would be very angsty, angry
Or
girl.
Joanna.
Yeah. But but what I love about John Connor's being this hardcore edgy teen is that it's all just it's a front. It's a front for him because he's got some serious.
He's missing his mama. That's all.
Yeah, he's missing his mom, and not only that, he was told his
doesn't
entire
even know his
life.
dad.
He doesn't know his dad exactly. His foster parents
Never will.
Nope. His foster father more or less doesn't give a shit about him.
Right.
I mean, he walks outside and he tells John, "Hey, John, get your ass inside and do what your mother tells you." And then he just drives up saying, "She's not my mom." And the dad doesn't go after him. If I had said something like that to my dad and drove up, he would have gotten in that car, drove after me.
I'm not going to chase after you. My bullets will.
Oh man.
Well, that's getting into the 90s.
My parents, if I said that,
yeah,
my face would have hit the wall. Guys, I wouldn't have made it out the door. If I mouthed off to my mom like that, first of all, they would have to peel my face off the door for my mother's slap, then I wouldn't have got out the door because of that. But
these days, kids get the final word in with their parents and most media.
But Terminator 2 wrote a kid actor really. That was a good kid actor. Another one I want to go back. Yes, to
Don't even get me started on the Babysitters Club that they got on Netflix.
Going back to the 80s, another great James Cameron film, Newt from Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
She was a good kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was great. Well, see,
They're dead, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But she still was a child.
Yeah.
And she still but she was a great character because I loved the interaction and how I brought out the motherly instinct in Ripley. Because now we can't have motherly instinct. We have to bury that. But that was another strength. That's a good example of the power. Women have a different kind of strength. Yes, Ripley was strong and she fought those aliens, and Alien Queen, and that was all cool. But also it was that motherly instinct to take care of that little girl.
Well, yeah,
and want to protect that little girl. And that's
basically used as a character development device.
I'll even go a step further. The end of the movie has the two mothers fighting for the future of their children.
Yes, exactly what it is. And that was a great. There you go, right there. That was it was a great trope.
Well, yeah,
but according to
you can't even have that anymore.
Again, inherently, that's not a child film. That becomes that's just like it's a sci-fi.
Child actors,
and that's where you, you get away from telling a adventure story for a child and more or less getting into being able to use a child character to further develop something else that you want to go ahead and convey to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Works in both cases because one, it brings out the inner mother that's in Aliens, in the case of Ripley, and in Terminator 2, I like this kind of pseudo mother, father, and son type dynamic they got with the Terminator.
I was just about to say what I like is that the bond that John develops with the Terminator.
It boiled down to a cradle fight.
Hasta la vista, baby.
No. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Do y'all?
Yeah. A cradle fight between between the Terminator and I'm lost.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes.
Get away from her, you bitch.
I love that line.
Yeah.
like you take your hand away from my cradle.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's
you take your hand. Look, I've seen the hand that rocks a cradle. I know what a cradle fight is.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cradle of love.
Y'all know that saying, the hand that rocks the cradle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it even makes sense.
That was a cradle fight, and I'm all for it.
Me too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
And it's even made more apparent too when we go back earlier into the movie when the Queen alien was basically summoning her drums.
Look, let me emphasize the cradle fight real quick. Let me. She was literally trying to reach for the cradle.
Mm-hmm.
Ripping off them floorboards.
Actually,
Yeah.
that was intentional, by the way. The floorboard opening up.
It's
and
intensity, but that's symbolic for she trying to rob the cradle.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I
Yep.
caught that. Yeah, I got you.
You see her reaching in, trying to reach in there. That was her trying to rob that cradle. You know,
Yep.
Newt the baby trying to get
Mhm.
away. She trying to rob that cradle, girl.
Mhm.
I ain't lying. She trying to rob that cradle. Until Mama Bear come in, you better get your head out my cradle right now. She already
I
look.
listened to the
She already
to
disabled the dad. She already disabled the dad and the uncle, mind you.
Yep.
Yep.
She
No, she went
disabled
right.
Hicks, the dad, and she disabled the uncle.
Bishop.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bishop.
Bishop. Yeah, thank you, Bishop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he disabled too. And she going for that cradle. She trying. She like, you come here, baby. I'll make more out of you. I'll make some more out of you. Get over here, you little baby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Ripley
Then
takes mine, I take hers.
that's when she walk. That's when Ripley walks up in there with that power loader. She ready in there like you take your motherfucking hand out my motherfucking cradle.
Yep. He's ready to kick some ass at that point.
See, James Cameron knows he owns something. See when every time I see that I'm like, oh, it's a cradle fight. Yeah, boy.
Yep.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I caught that clearly, and that's what. But according to the woke authority, there's never been a woman with strength, ever.
There's never been a
That's
strength in
That's
women.
because they're getting tired of us always referring to the baby making as the strength of the woman. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck all of you.
By the way, just getting back to that to Terminator
Just because
2,
you can't imagine yourself handling childbirth like some of these women is. Don't make it seem like you making a baby is a sign of weakness or the symbol of weakness.
Sounds like a lot
Exactly.
of step work rapes, if you ask me.
Yeah,
On their part.
I want to refer you to that scene in Terminator 2 when Miles Dyson says, "How are we supposed to know?" And Sarah Connor says, "You don't know what it's like creating and holding life within you." Okay,
Oh, she was just having a female power fantasy more. I hate her when she did that. I'm sorry.
no, because she's first
I'm just
off,
glad.
and John comes in saying we need more to be more productive here. I do like that. But
Yeah.
you got to understand, this is deep resentment that Sarah has. Her whole life was destroyed because of Miles Dyson. So yeah, and just literally the previous scene, she was trying to execute him.
Yep. And
So
and
yeah,
you also
go ahead, Leia.
you also have to remember that the man she loved, who is the father of John, she was killed as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, she watched him, so go on.
Precisely.
I still love that scene where she picks him up and she said, "On your feet, soldier."
Yeah.
That's one memorable line I remember as a kid to this day. I was like, yeah, get him up. Get him up. Get him up and get him out of there. That's right. That's right. Fight for your man. See, and they call me a sexist. I'm like, bitch, I'm over here praising a woman for picking a man up, fighting for her man.
Yep.
Not only that, not afraid
I'm like
to
Big Mama in Big Mama's house. Come over here and get your man.
Well, she was also afraid never to drop. She loved him enough not to be afraid to basically give him the tough love.
Yeah, basically, that was the same thing. And what were you saying before that, Scooney, about John Connor?
John, this is also one of the key moments which will segue into, this is done correctly. If we watch the extended Terminator 2, remember when they have to cut open his head and remove the chip so that he can start learning human behaviors more efficiently. And
take a moment size for Linda Hamilton's twin sister Leslie.
Yeah.
She was in the I believe she was either the one operating on Arnie's head, and she was in the she was the one in the reflection operating the head.
Yep. And she was also
operating on Arnie's head. I mean.
Yep, operating on Arnie's head. She was also doubling for the other T-1000, the T-1000 in that scene where Sarah comes out of the corner.
Yeah, she was doubling for that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So either way, she made it into the movie.
Yeah.
But in the deleted scene, this is one of those scenes where the child is talking down to the parent done right, in my opinion, because she is about to destroy the Terminator ship, and John is going, don't kill him. And she's like, listen to me, we're better off on our own. I don't trust this thing. And he's like, yeah, okay, but there's an even more advanced. And John is like saying, yeah, but Mom, there's an even more advanced Terminator out there. This thing's our best shot at fighting it. And and she's like going, and he's basically saying to her, he's like, so he can't appeal to her humanity. So instead, he appeals to her like that tough love soldier. He says, if you think I'm supposed to be some great military leader, Mom, how about you start listening to my decision making? I love that.
He's appealing to her inner survivalist too.
That's it.
Yep.
That was it. Her inner survivalist. That's what I was looking for.
It's not more. Well, here's the reason why it works so well is because it's not saying that I'm the kid and you're the adult. I know more than the adult. The adults are useless at this point, so let the kid take the wheel for a change. It's more of this is something this is something I've been witnessing before I even got to you. You have to trust my knowledge of the situation right now. This is the situation that we're in. We have another Terminator out there ready to kill us, kill me specifically, but now we have a form of protection now, and you're ready to destroy that for the sake of you not trusting it, even though it came and saved your life.
And you're carrying a grudge.
That too.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But like you guys said, that was a case where he's not disrespecting his mother. Like you guys said, it's a reasoning, trying to reason with her. He's not saying, well, I know more than you, Mom. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm in the kitchen. So yeah, I'm nibbling as I cook. But it's not. I'm just sitting down at the table while it's.
What you making? Was it any good?
You got your wine?
It's got lemonade. It's very hot here today in Michigan. This is the third day of 90 plus degrees, so we are sweltering.
Oh, it's going to get worse in August.
Yeah, but we have been July has been so hot in Michigan. I mean, wow.
Over here in Jersey too.
I've thought about turning on my air conditioning.
So I know what to look for when I finally decide to move to the south.
Oh yeah, you better you better get a good air conditioning. I would say get a good air conditioning in the south, because if we're 90 degrees here, it's burning up in the south, and I have family in the south, so they tell me, yeah, it's hot. It's probably 100 plus, probably 100, 104. I have to
California
ask
ain't getting no. We all know California ain't getting no better, and Trooper can attest to that.
Aren't you guys sweltering there in California? You got those fires. It's been hot, and you guys are sweltering too, right?
It's 82 right now, as I'm looking at my degree counter on my computer.
I got 86 over here.
I'm taking that with a grain of salt, by the way. Not really relying on it that much, but I'm taking it with a grain of salt. So that's why I'm being shown. So I'm to assume it's way harder than it normally would be. Like if it's 82, most likely it'll probably be somewhere around 83, 84.
Well, right now it's not bad. It's only about 104 right now. So
Trooper, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not.
Wow.
Well, he lives that. Remember, he lives that.
Not bad for Vegas. It's when you start getting into, like, everyone says, oh, once you start getting into triple digits, it's hot. I'm like, no, 104 is still all right, because you got to remember it's dry. It's not humid. But once you start getting into like 111, 112, or if you're towards Laughlin and you start getting into the 120s, forget it. That's too high. So
that's it.
Oh yeah, you gotta stay inside at that point.
I'm running.
That's not going to happen with bacon. That is not going to happen.
Normally, I try to do, like, during the summer, I try to do all my stuff at night, because it still will be hot, because the heat ends up coming off of the blacktop and off the brick and all that. So you're still getting all the heat, but it's now coming off the buildings. It's not coming from the sun. But I try to do most of my stuff at night in terms of like my grocery shopping or my errands. If I have to go
I try
outside
and
during the
exercise
summer,
when it's less heat.
I try to do it early morning while it's still in like the high 80s. That way I can just get it done, and then by the time 10:30 or something rolls around, I'm already inside the house. So, because what
Yeah.
ends up happening is, and I've done it myself, it's like you cover yourself in sunblock, and what ends up happening is you don't get enough vitamin D because you're so covered in sunblock, your body isn't really absorbing any vitamin D. So,
What about Sunblock 5000?
nah.
Mhm.
Well,
RoboCop 2.
the thing is,
Sunblock
it's like in this type of heat,
1000.
you really don't want to burn because you dehydrate real easy, and that
Hmm.
tends to happen on the strip a lot with a lot of these weirdos that come out here and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go party in Vegas." Yeah, but it's 104 and you're drinking, so not
Dummy.
only is your
Yeah.
body going to
Yeah,
go
they're
ahead and
sun
start,
worshippers.
well, not only are you going to be dehydrating in the sun, it's like alcohol is a vasodilator, so you're already like releasing heat on top of getting heat from the sun, so it's like you're going to go right into, you're going to go into, like, what's the best way to put it, not only are you cooking, but you're releasing heat, so you're going to drop on the ground, and you get that a lot on the strip. So
So
where
I
you get
know we,
heat
we, we
exhaustion. You literally get
mm,
heat exhaustion, and they end
so
up either go on a drip in the ER, or it's like you try to get them out of the sun and you try to hydrate them as quickly as you can. So
Hmm.
so we covered a bit of what makes a good child character here and there. We bounced around the bad ones, which we'll continue down that road when we get there. But I want to bring up child murderers, or at least child killers.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Killer children.
yeah. I
Children
was wondering.
can be scary.
Oh
I
yeah.
was wondering when you were going to get to your thumbnail picture. Is that Damien from The Omen?
Yep.
The child that is a child that is demonic, or basically
The
what you said.
ultimate enemy of humanity, the Antichrist.
Yes, wrapped up
Oh
in a
yeah.
child.
Wrapped in a child, directed by Richard Donner, who also gave us the personification of heroism, Superman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
gave us the greatest villain and the greatest hero. I'm sorry, just any chance to just shout out to Richard Donner.
No, you should, because it was what the Omen was. Let's see, Superman was 78, so 76 I think was the Omen. He started work. He got the job. Actually, the Salkinds saw the Omen, and I don't know, they saw something in him to direct Superman. As he started working on Superman in 77, but it was released in 78. So that's a good example. And then we'll get to it. I just want to, Scooty, that's a
Esther
good
Coleman
example.
would like to know your location, guys.
Who?
Who?
Esther Coleman would like to know your location in the private chat, guys.
Okay.
The answer is no.
Yikes. It's
Yeah,
face the real way. That's truly a face only a mother could love.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? This is. Oh no.
There's something wrong with little orphan Esther.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, Leo
talking
DiCaprio,
about
executive producer.
While we're talking about crazy kids, about Hansel and Gretel from Black Lagoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my God! Did those? First off, when you find out what happened to them, you're like, dear God. And then,
By the way, that actress was in the Hunger Games.
Yes.
Oh.
Which one was she?
She was the crazy bitch with the knives
That's it.
Oh yeah.
that got her neck snapped by Trace. I think his name was Trace.
Hang on.
I was just going to say real quickly about Donner, and then we'll move on. That just shows you he's a good director, because he's able to jump from the child from hell to the ultimate superhero. So that's why Donner was the classic that he is. But moving on.
Thresh. That was his name. Thresh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I only read the book once, so I can't recall at the time.
What got me about the Omen is that maybe because, and we used to joke about this as a family, but why? I guess we're saying that we was black. My family said we were black folks. We wouldn't sit around to try to figure this kid out. We would. I had a family because I didn't see.
Too bad we can't stay, baby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Remember when the Omen came out? That was 76. So I wasn't old enough to see the movie. Remember, my mommy was strict on what we watched, and
Right.
she felt that was a no-no. But I did see Superman and Star Wars afterwards, so I made up for that. But when I was older, years down the line, I went back to see it.
Mhm.
And I was sitting with my family, and my family is a traditional Black family who love to yak and talk through horror films. They talk through everything. I'm surprised I was able to hear the dialogue because my Black family, I have no shame saying, they are the typical family that talk through horror movies. And they always said, why is it that family didn't just realize that kid, when all these people started dying, man, I would have took off, left that kid in the road somewhere and drove
Here's
off.
our true identity right here.
Yeah.
Because first you had the maid hang herself.
Let me see.
Oh, that is a child from hell.
Let me see.
That's not a child.
It's for you.
Yeah,
That's-
the she hangs
that's
herself.
That's not a child.
That is not a child.
Who is
no,
that?
it is not.
No. Picture in the chat. That is not a child.
I'm sorry, who is that?
That's Orphan
That's
Esther from Orphan.
mind you, that is the same actress. And yes, okay, I'll tell you this: the actress was
Okay.
definitely a child at the time when she acted, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Story wise, that is not a child.
Nope.
Story wise is she's a full grown adult, but she has dwarfism.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's why she's
okay.
wrinkled like that.
They don't call
Like
it
a
dwarfism,
kind of
they
like
call-
a Salazar
it-
from a Resident Evil 4, right?
Yeah, or like Andy Milonakis.
Ooh.
Yeah,
He has a
or Gary
condition
Coleman.
that, yeah, and Gary Coleman, that make him look and sound like an adolescent child, but they're actually adults.
Right.
Mhm.
I
fact,
forgot the
that
name,
was
so I
what-
just call it dwarfism.
In fact, Batman the Animated Series actually did something like that.
I was just
Baby.
about to say the baby, the little one, the lady
Yeah.
that was which segue, if I may, if nobody has anything else on the Omen, which segues into another very recent child character that everybody was shocked by, but I wasn't because I read the book. And that is, if you've seen Interview with the Vampire, you remember
Claudia.
Claudia.
Yeah.
Beautifully played by Kirsten Dunst. Beautifully played. I often said, whatever girl gets that part is going to be a star because that is a star-making part. And I read the book, and I remember telling people, Claudia shocked maybe mothers more because she was, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably the first child vampire on screen. And she was this basically in the novel, Claudia ages to 65, but forever looks like a 6-year-old girl. But mentally, she grows, she's 65. So all her actions and her behaviors, and even in the book, the things she says to Lewis, I said, oh, I don't know if they're going to put this on screen because this is going to look like pedophilia. Because she sees Lewis as her lover in the book. I'm sorry, folks, but that is.
I'll show you another. I'll raise you another child vampire.
I'm going to say this though too, and this is where I think this was where, at least in the movie, progressivism done right. It knew when to border and then stop, because Lewis and Claudia in the movie have just such chemistry. And Kirsten Dunst and Brad Pitt did an amazing job. The only thing the only thing that kind of makes me go a little when watching the movie is when she kisses Louis.
Yeah, that I'm shocked.
And not a little peck on the lips like a child with a parent. No, this is like a romantic kiss, and I'm like, oh.
So like deep makeout, basically.
I was surprised the director allowed that in the film, and that in Scooney that some people weren't happy. They did. I read many articles about why was that allowed in the picture. I am surprised that was allowed. Yeah. Oh, Kirsten doesn't even say it. Kirsten does.
Sorry, go ahead, Leia.
She said in an interview she felt the same way, Scooney, when she was younger. She was like, ew, do I have to do that? Oh, that's so ugly. That's what she said. And so her and Brad Pitt beautifully played it. And you're right. And that was sort of cringe.
There was some risque stuff that we all know actors and actresses had to do at times. And usually some of those risque moments do tend to get the right effect, let alone the right reactions that the audience would get. You know,
It
a lot.
freaked it.
And they were smart in the movie because what happens literally after that scene, before they can even explore this dark taboo subject, Claudia is killed.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the audience is like, all right, I
Oh,
wasn't
thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Going down
Pretty
someplace
much.
really dark.
It really rattled some audiences. Well, there were a lot of people who never read the book because my sister saw
Well,
it.
I
She
will
said, "Did
say
you
that there's some things I saw as a kid I should not have seen. I know that. I saw two bushes in the same movie.
Oh
know?"
yeah.
Oh goodness.
But
Mhm.
what was I going to say? It actually doubles back to what Wolf was saying earlier about Blank Check and how the woman kissed the little boy.
Mm-hmm.
It was strange.
That was strange. Yeah, that was. I said that. I'm
May
like,
I
okay.
even take it one bit further? An indie movie that watch. Not, I did.
Right.
No, actually, I didn't watch this directly. I know of it through an indie round table discussion. There was a movie out. There's a movie out there where two boys are online. It's kind of like a subject of online chatting.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
What was really going on at the time, which is online groomers now. But back then, there were like people that were kidnapping kids through social media and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, story was the older brother has a computer. He has the internet. He's got America Online or whatever you were using back then. Let's just say for a sec AOL.
Right.
So like the young brother is with the older brother, and they're talking to an older woman online, and he's like egging them on. But long story short, the young boy meets the older woman, and she's like surprised that it's a little boy. But at the end of the conversation, they're having a general conversation. But at the end of the conversation, she kisses him on the cheek.
Mhm.
But I
Okay,
don't know what
now,
else happens like that.
well, let me tell you right now. Excuse me. That I have an issue with. Now I'm gonna tell you why. Not that I'm a prude, but she can kiss a young boy on the cheek. Flip that around, young
Mm-hmm.
girl and boy. They would throw
An
a
older man
fit.
and a young
Girl,
woman. Yeah.
they would throw an absolute fit. The man would be in jail. The actor would be in jail. Should be
Mm-hmm.
arrested. He's a pedophile. But why does the woman get away with it? Why is
Mm-hmm.
she
Mhm.
allowed to get away with it?
There is actually one form that's acceptable if it's an older man and a younger girl, and that's a kiss on the head.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's acceptable because that's considered, for whatever reason, non-problematic. But I agree with what you're saying, Leia. They would
Double
throw
standard.
Yeah.
a double standard. I mean, even if he takes the little girl's hand and kisses her on the wrist, they would find problems with that.
Wolf, how old was the boy in the movie?
Um. By
Like,
his look in the movie, story wise, he looked like he could have been 5 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
uh
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Mhm.
how old the boy was when he was acting that movie, but technically, story wise, he's meant to be a 5-year-old boy, at least.
I want to
Mhm.
address gamer here because go ahead, Wolf. Then I'll get to gamers.
So yeah, I
This
didn't
is a
really
good
see
one.
like I said, I didn't see the movie proper, but they brought up the whole it was a segment in these indie films where they talk about child adolescence, like the movie 13, which is
Yeah.
Okay.
oh, you know about that, Schooner?
Uh-huh.
Oh man, a
Uh-oh.
culture I see. Anyways, that's one
Yeah.
thing I want. That's one thing I wanted to bring up too. Definitely in the indie films. Indie films do a lot of slice of life. That's the reason why we got cuties in the first place. Because in the indie film genre, or at least in the independent film area, they do explore like taboos of
Mm-hmm.
such, like a young 13-year-old girl drinking, smoking, having sex, or in the case of the movie I was talking about, proper the young boys are exploring the internet through online dating, if you will, and they make up all kinds of stuff. Or there are times where they talk about how kids perceive how parents do
Mhm.
or the
Yep.
promiscuous sister the promiscuous hot sister having sex with somebody in front of the not so hot naive young sister. That they cover stuff like that. I forgot the name of that, but I'm a man who tours these things. You know what I'm saying? A traveler of knowledge. So that.
Well,
But
they say
Right.
like they talk about like the progressive great movie about romantic, the greatest romantic couple in the world. Blue is the warmest color. I'm like, that's porn.
It is. I already seen the infamous scene.
It's
The
like
book
this,
is the comic book is porn too.
yeah, it's porn. They're like saying, but this is about
It's
progressive.
softcore porn, but the movie made it hardcore. Definitely.
Well, see, that's where I kind of draw the line. Like with Cuties, Cuties had no business being on the air. I don't care what, and it just had to be directed by a woman. And like Gamer said, they were praising that film. That film was that film was a pedophile's dream. That was all that when the director was like, no, it is
I don't
about
care.
a girl
Look,
coming with a. If you don't get
I
out
don't
of here,
care what that director's mind was, especially when she explained why she came with that movie. I will give her this. Her heart was definitely in the right place. Her execution, though, was
terrible.
just. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I draw the line when it gets to kids. Sometimes they're pushing it too hard.
I
Sometimes
will
they're pushing
say
it with
those who
sexuality.
reacted did go too far. I'm sorry, Leia. I didn't mean to step on your foot there,
Go
but
ahead.
I will admit that some those and I will even freely admit that I was one of those reactionaries that went too far too. But the ones that were going too far, like about the whole idea of, well, what are the cameramen are thinking when they film this? I'm like, guys, they're being professional cameramen. Come on, give them the benefit of the doubt on that front. At least give them that. Give them the benefit of the doubt that they were probably not thinking dirty thoughts while these kids are doing this. They were they were showing the camera off. That's their job. Okay.
Right.
The blame, if there's blame to be had, or at least if there's anything to say as a bottom line, movie should not have been made in the first place.
Right.
Exactly.
I agree with you, Wolf. There's a line that just should not be crossed. And yes, but the director, she crossed it. Like you said, maybe she wanted to do a film about coming of age or sexuality, but she should have picked kids, not little girls.
Well,
not
for what she was saying,
that's pushing it.
Leia, what she was saying was she was trying to make it a very a comfortable message about how little girls are exploited through the entertainment industry, how they prop up little girls. I'm like, yeah, but why didn't you make a doc? Everybody's all like, why did you make a documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, documentary would have been just fine for that purpose.
That right there just basically null and voided any type of excuse he could have done. Why didn't you just do a documentary?
Exactly.
Pretty much. Not to
Everybody
mention the way
kept saying,
she
why
filmed it
couldn't
is
you just do
basically
a
like,
documentary, or why couldn't you just be an investigative journalist?
yep.
And just
If you really wanted to expose this stuff, why couldn't you not have been an investigative journalist instead of a movie director? I think you're in the wrong field, Sonny Jim.
Pretty much.
I think you need to change careers. If your mission statement was that, sorry, Leia, if your mission statement was that you should have been an investigative journalist, what you gonna say, Leia?
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. She should have been a journalist, but and also, it's still there's still a double standard. Like you said in some films, like this one film that I saw, which was a documentary about a famous singer from the 80s. And when this singer was 13 years old, they had a nanny and a nanny. And she would seduce him. She would always walk in front of him naked when his parents weren't home. And she would always tell him, Michael, it's okay to look. You can look at me. And she would be stark butt naked in front of this 12-year-old boy. If I was the mama and I found that out, that nanny would have been kicked out on her butt in the street. But do you guys see the double standard?
Yeah.
Nobody was quiet about it.
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, why is it okay for older women to attract younger men, but not okay for older men?
Since we're on this talk about adults and children and adult and child interaction, I want to bring up this one movie. You probably have heard of it, maybe not, but I'm assuming that you guys have heard of it. Long Dogs.
I've never heard. Is that an indie film? It sounds familiar.
It is not. It's
Okay.
actually before I get into that, I also want to bring up Let the White One In since I mentioned a female vampire as well, like you said, Leia. But I'll get into her in a bit. I just bring it
Okay.
up as another point I want to segue into after I explain Long Dogs. But I'm gonna give you guys the picture of Long Dogs, so you guys know what I'm talking about. I watched it on HBO, by the way. Ooh, what's his name? The one that dances a lot. Justin Hammer. Justin Hammer was in it. Y'all don't know who the fuck Justin Hammer is? Really?
Justin Hammer from the Iron Man films, right?
Yes. What's his name?
Sam Rockwell.
Thank you. Sam Rockwell was in it.
Okay, thank you.
And a
That
very
clears it up
young.
now.
And I think what's her name? Dang it, what was her name? She was young at the time though. Anyways, I'll show you a picture of it. Fuck it. But this is something we don't get nowadays either because of so many people are always on a pedo alert.
Yeah.
But this movie was like kind of like the friendship between a young girl and a quote unquote young adult man.
Yeah.
Which yeah, you would want to question it. You would want to question their relationship, but as you're going through the movie, it's them just all good fun. There's no sexual tension. There's no her teasing him or anything. They're basically outcasts. He's living out in the woods somewhere in his own shack. She's in a very well-respected family in the community, which is it's mostly about them having a tight-knit community where there's a lot of nasty shit going on underneath it all, whereas these guys are perfectly normal. I think that's what the message was about, mostly.
That's subversion done really well, because every so often you would look and think you're waiting for that other shoot, because just the way
it's a British film.
I
fancy drama too.
British.
I kind of get what you're saying, Wolfman. It seems like you're watching the movie and you're waiting for the shoe to drop on this little friendship, revealing that it's something dark and sinister, when in fact you're looking in the wrong place.
And there are times you tend to clench your butt cheeks a bit in some areas because the neighborhood perverts are always going around touching feely stuff and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
There's a scene where one of the neighborhood bullies fill up the mama while she's doing her gardening.
Oh my God.
Right.
Oh. Okay.
And there's a scene where he puts his hand underneath the little girl's shirt, and I'm like, whoa, dude!
Yeah.
I hope somebody kick your ass because I'm not feeling you. You get, bro. You need to learn. You need to learn to keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
But
Do
see,
not.
go ahead, Brian.
Hang on, Brian. Sorry, hang on. Look, it's funny that during this movie, everybody keeps looking at the neighborhood weirdo as a pedophile who mostly is going around cutting people's lawn with his lawnmower, you know, and you know you got these perverts like bullying this guy here and there, but these perverts are the ones that are actually perpetuating the nastiness of this community town.
Yeah.
So yeah, that also by the way, the fantasy part comes in with the story of the Baba Yaga. So they use that as kind of like an allegory for how they live their lives and how the story concludes. But it's a nice movie to watch. I mean, like I said, it's got some very, very uncomfortable scenes, mind you. Just if you guys do track down this movie, if you guys want to see it for yourselves, sell the 7 Seas if you like, just let you know that there's some scenes that will make you feel not cool, you know.
Yeah.
And it's mostly perpetuated by the quote unquote villains of this movie. Oh, and the dad's Shooter McGavin, by the way.
No kidding.
Yep, her dad's Shooter McGavin.
He's always playing a bad guy.
No, he's not a bad guy this time around. He's just a protective father.
Okay.
Overly protective father,
Okay.
Okay.
But
just like he was in the faculty. Yeah, he was in the
Yeah.
faculty. He
Yep.
was
I
he
remember
was
now.
he was Frodo Baggins' dad.
Right.
yes, I remember him. Yeah.
No more telephone. Bye bye. Gone. No more. His porno. All right. His porno. No more porno. I'm like, whoa, dude, come on. Really?
Wow.
You gotta throw it out there. You gotta reset it out loud like that.
No. What he calls it, the mom says his porno and points it down. He goes, "Oh, your porno. Sorry, son. No more flogging the bishop."
I like he came to his rescue too.
Yeah.
In that one scene where he's trying to run away.
Mm-hmm.
When he sees the teachers are like literally just like bite snatchers watching his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that concerned look on his face too.
Mm-hmm.
He's like looking around like are you sure there's somebody out here? Like let's get you back in here. Let's get you back in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still pissed off at you right now that you're trying to run away, but dude, let's get you back in here because you look like you're scared, you look like you're distressed. I'm gonna keep watch. That's a dad. That's a dad. Gotta love that dad right there. That was a big dad moment right there. I was like, look, I wouldn't even look. Here's the thing, I wasn't even mad at him for taking away the shit, even though he don't believe the son. I'm like when he picked up his son and gently walked him back into the house. I was like, that's a dad. That is a dad.
Yep.
Brian,
So,
did you?
Saying Proctor, we missed you, man. Says so. What the wolf is trying to say is, I should stay as far away from that movie as possible. No. What I'm saying is, if you're curious about Lawn Dogs, check it out. What I'm saying is, just be aware that there's some scenes that'll come up that will say that'll basically make you uncool. Just
it'll make
bum
you
you out
very
a bit.
uncomfortable, is what he means to say.
Mm-hmm. It's got some fun scenes though. It's got some really fun scenes. Like there's a scene where they beat the living shit out of his lawnmower after the assholes freaking put sugar in it,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
fucking up the engine and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then well, of course Sam Rockwell's character is not a saint either. He kills a dog.
Oh, sickening him.
So like I said, it makes you question who's in the right and who's in the wrong in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a little bit of that. So you can sympathize with him, but at the same time, like yeah, you still ran over a dog and you finished the job. So I'm still questioning that. You know, and it's mostly out of revenge for the dick who put sugar in his engine, because that was the dick's dog.
Right.
Brian, did you want to say something before I kept stepping all over you? So did you have anything?
Yeah, I was thinking with regard to the cuties thing, it's like if these media shows had no, if it weren't for double standards, these media shows would have no standards.
Yeah, that's an interesting point there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
I mean, we say it all the time, but it's so true, you know.
oh,
And I like
definitely.
to. And what Gamer was saying when he brings up when I like to bring up adult to child interaction, I'm talking about again going back to the father figures or the really good role models. They're eliminating that in the rate, but instead they're replacing good role models that'll help you learn martial arts or or teach you how to climb trees or teach you how to drive a car, in replace of somebody who's going to teach you white racism is the most evilest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah.
no Richard Simmons. Hey, let's get up and exercise, everybody. Or Johnny from Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Women make weak legs.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're older, Samuel, check out Long Dogs. It's a 97 movie. It's 90s, so 90s was in on that whole teen drama stuff that really make you think, like American Beauty. Oh my goodness, American Beauty.
Yep.
I didn't even watch that movie, and I know what goes on in that movie.
The movie, that's an intriguing movie in its own right. because it shows, I don't know, the dad is like totally fantasizing about the girl, and then he finally gets the girl, and then he suddenly realizes, wait a minute, this is a girl. This is a kid. And he stops what he's doing when he comes to that realization. So I don't know. That movie, that movie
will say,
it's on the fence.
I will say this.
Me too.
There's one movie that you should avoid if you want to preserve Aaron Eckhart in your mind as that true blue good American looking dude. Towelhead.
Oh my God, Towelhead! No.
I have not
Oh,
seen
you saw
that
it,
one.
Scooter.
I don't know if I want to now.
No, don't watch Towelhead.
Do not. If you look, depending on what movie anybody has ever played in, will definitely shape what you think about not necessarily shape what you think, but your image of the actor. Like remember Lawrence Fishburne, he had to work real hard to really be still the Lawrence Fishburne that we love after all What's Up got to do with it.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that, right?
Yes. Yes. I do. Yes.
Because everybody said he played Ike Turner so well that a lot of women really hated him.
Yes. Yes. I absolutely
Same thing
agree.
goes with old boy from Medea's Family Reunion. Did I ever tell you that story about my friend's wife mom when I talked about him, and she's like, I don't like that man no more. I was like, why? Because he played that role so well. I was like, ooh, okay. Like Ike Turner with Lawrence Fishburne. Now Ike Turner gets a pat. Now Lawrence Fishburne gets a pat because he's still doing good movies. Okay. But I was like, whoa, he's still done a few good movies now. Like, yeah, but that memory sticks with you.
He rebounded with Morpheus from The Matrix.
Yeah,
because Morpheus was cool. So I have to. He rebound after with The Matrix.
I'm talking about the boy, but I'm also talking about the boyfriend and Set It Off. Like he played an abusive boyfriend in Medea Family Reunion.
Yeah.
For those who don't know in the back, I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But people in the back. But yeah, if you want to preserve Aaron Eckhart as your memory of him being Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight, do not watch Towelhead.
Oh.
What is he? Is he Scooty? Is he a villain, or is he?
Yes, he is. If you want to put it like that.
If you
Okay,
want to put it like that, but this movie is just all levels of screwed up.
Yeah.
I mean, oh God. First, she lives with her mom, and her boyfriend helps her with that thing, and then sent to live with her dad, and her dad doesn't let her use feminine products, and he's more self-absorbed with his girlfriend.
You're telling the story vague again, Schooner. Come on.
Yeah, I'm intentionally telling it vague because I don't want people to look at.
Nah. You can give the bare minimum by giving enough information. This is a Middle Eastern family that lives in a full-on stereotypical conservative community. With Aaron Eckhart as the next door neighbor being a very stereotypical conservative Christian American man.
Yes. Oh my God.
With a shit wife and a racist son.
I think I know where this is going. Yeah, I gotcha.
She gets a black boyfriend, of course, the black benevolent character, of course. She stays with she's basically just babysitting the racist son for a while, but she goes. But while her dad is off doing his little business trick, she lives with this very I guess I'm gonna assume liberal progressive in the right way, by the way, but liberal progressive family that really shows her like some things that sorry, I'm losing my train of thought there. I'll give you one clear example that I remember vividly because I've seen this movie 3 times already. I'm surprised I survived it 3 times. But there's a scene where she looks at these models, and she goes into this freaking fast moving fantasy world where she's on this golf course and there's this topless female driving a golf course cart, and she's just sitting there just standing there, well, sitting there in the cart with her arms down, just like she's on a roller coaster ride. She's not with it. Like that's where her fantasies go. Just to give you a tidbit of the zaniness of this movie. I was like, bro, I'm surprised I survived 3 settings of this movie, and I know exactly what goes down in this freaking movie. And Eric Eckhart is the center of it all. What he does to this girl in this movie.
You don't have to remind me. I think I know where this is going. Oh my goodness!
So like I said, if you guys want to preserve the vision of Eric Eckhart, do not watch this movie.
Hey, looks like we lost Schooner there for a second.
Schooner's back.
I'm back. I'm here. What happened? What I missed?
What happened to your good Wi-Fi, man?
My good Wi-Fi? I don't know. Maybe I'm being hacked.
Oh yeah, maybe
The rebel forces have hacked into there.
Yes, under the sea.
No, on your left.
Behind you.
I was gonna say, you don't have to remind me. All I can say is why do these actors play these despicable evils, make us want to hate them kind of characters? We'll never know. But I think that when it comes to this issue, I still think it's a very thin line in Hollywood, because I don't want to see a glamorization. First of all, there's still a double standard. If a woman seduces a 12-year-old boy, it's supposed to be cute and okay. But if it's reversed, the actor does it. He's arrested, or he never works in Hollywood again. But if the actress, somehow it's deemed okay. Or it's
I want to bring up the positive child to adult relationships. Matilda for being one.
Positive child to adults. Go ahead while I think.
Yeah, one is Matilda, definitely. Your that favorite Lisa episode that you talked about. Now I could have sworn I remember what I said, what I thought when I watched that episode, because I said I processed that episode differently than you did.
Yeah, it was called Lisa's Substitute. Probably one of the best episodes of The Simpsons that I ever liked was that one.
Yeah, I was because you asked me one time. I don't think I ever said it. What I got out of that episode.
Well, go ahead if you want to bring it up.
Just to tell you what I was going to say in the last stream when we talked about that. I viewed it as Lisa's first crush, if you will.
Right.
Not seeing a better father figure, or at least a better father in her dad. I kind of figured that was like Lisa's first male crush. Because don't lie, who's ever had a crush on an adult in their lifetime? Don't lie, Trooper. Don't you dare lie. I defy you to find somebody in this chat and in this panel that ain't never had no crush on an adult as a kid. I defy you to find anybody at all.
We all had that phase at one point.
Yes, that's what I can think of offhand. I'd have to,
because I know you probably have bruh. There was 2 teachers I had crush on as a kid, and I was crushing on the TA.
Ooh.
Heavily at that time, but I can recount at least 1 or 2 teachers that I had a crush on.
I got you. I'll do you one better. I actually proposed to the first adult teacher. Not
oh, that's hardcore.
Adult woman. Sorry, not adult teacher. Adult woman.
I'll do you one better. And Leia, you'll probably be like, Wolf Commander, really?
All right.
One time in middle school, and this was adult TA, by the way.
Right.
And I asked her, "Are you a virgin?"
Oh, Wolf! Why would you do something?
Oh man!
And this was triggered by guy talk with the 2 guys I was talking to at my desk, and they were talking about we were talking about her, and they were whispering about her being possibly a virgin and all that stuff. Young boy precociousness, right?
Yes.
So I raised my hand, and she walked over, and I straight up said, "Are you a virgin?" And the teacher marched my ass out of that classroom. Look, dude, the dudes that heard me say that laughed their asses off because they didn't even dare me to do it. They didn't even dare me to do it. They was like, I don't think I would ever ask her. I don't think I would ever ask her. Like I just took the courage and just asked her, and he marched me out and before he even marched me out, homeboy said, "I cannot believe you asked her that."
That's hilarious.
You made a lot of friends that day, but you definitely broke the heart of your crush.
I'm wondering about what did your parents think when mommy come to school and found out? Was the belt ready or?
I'm trying to remember. Did I tell my mom I asked the TA that, or did the teacher call my mom and told her that?
Yeah.
Because I do remember my mom knowing about it. I just don't know the event that happened for her to know about that. Because we did talk. I didn't get my ass whooped, but she did ask me why would I ask somebody like that, and I looked at her and said, I don't know. I'm a terrible liar, but like something in me just wanted to ask her that, and it's mostly perpetuated by the conversation that the two dudes were having in front of me.
So you were dared by your friends to say it, and you just had to be
inadvertently.
Inadvertently.
They didn't say it vocally, but they kind of hinted at it, I guess, is what you're saying?
I don't know. All I know is that somehow something triggered in me, and I rose my hand. She walked over, and I said, "Are you a virgin?" I asked it just like that. Just like that. There. That's how I asked it. Are you a virgin? Innocently too. My balls haven't dropped in. My balls dropped at high school.
You know what that reminds me of Monster Squad. Is she a virgin?
Are you an angel? No, an angel.
Oh, gee.
That's being an angel and asking if they're a virgin are two very. So, Wolf, you didn't stop to think that perhaps if you would get in trouble and they wouldn't because you opened your mouth.
Nope.
Okay.
I was that.
Okay.
Put it like this. All my troubles happen when I get curious about things.
Dennis, ain't
that true of all of us, though?
Think of it as a robot learning humans, if you will. That's where I get my troubles at. So like, think about it like this: if I was an android asking that, I don't think I would nearly got as much trouble as I did back then.
So basically, you're Johnny Five.
Yes, think of it like that. like me holding up a pen and just examining it in an inquisitive manner. But yeah, that like I said, like Schooner, I got you beat.
No.
You don't think that tops what you did?
No. Because you basically told me thank you, but no.
Oh, you must have. Oh,
how old were you? What grade were you in, Scooney, when you asked the teacher to marry you?
It wasn't a teacher, but it was an adult woman who was a friend of my mom's and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, Scooney.
Oh man.
Oh,
Scooney.
Wait, yeah, you got me beat.
You in a whole different.
Somebody.
This wasn't your teacher. This was a friend, your mother's friend.
And I asked her to marry me because I liked her, and she told me she let me down easy, but I was so heartbroken.
How old were you?
Oh,
God.
I'm not judging, but I just
no. Who could she, Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old, Leia.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right.
Do you know what heartbreak is like for a 9-year-old?
Yes.
You know what's real sad?
What's that?
My mom instantly knew that I was into older women.
Ooh.
Like since day one.
Oh God. Oh man.
Because there's been a few times when she would talk to many other adults.
Oh man.
Many other adults. She always bring up the fact that I actually had had a childhood thing for adult women, especially my teachers and or TAs.
Well, for me, yeah,
Even the babysitter that a close friend, sorry, Leia, a close friend of hers, I had a big crush on too, who would babysit me and my brother.
Yeah.
And she said that one time to a boyfriend at the time, like he had a big crush on my friend when she would come and watch us because he was so nice around her. Everybody else, he was mean.
The babysitter.
I think that's what tipped her off that I had a thing for older women.
Yeah.
Like my behavior around certain people.
Oh, the babysitter. Okay, no, mine's is just pure innocent. Okay, for me, when I was 7, I thought Harrison Ford was sexy as Han Solo in Star Wars. There, I said it. It's no big deal, but I thought he was hot, and I'm only 7 years old.
I ain't talking about no celebrity. I'm talking about like real life people that close hand.
Not really. There weren't too many adults. I gotta be honest with you guys.
Leia, don't you know how old Harrison Ford was?
Oh man.
Yes.
Whoa. That's good. That was rich. That give Schooner the award there.
Yes, I
words do.
Well, I said it was going to make somebody cringe, so I knew Scooney was going to. Hey, okay, look, I forgave you for being 9 years old and lusting after your mom's best friend. Wolf Media, I forgive you for asking your teacher if she was a virgin. So I think I should be forgiven for having a crush on Harrison Ford at 7 years of age.
Hey, you're breaking. I'm only chiding you for breaking the rule. I'm talking about real life people, not celebrities.
Right.
Leia,
Yes.
we do not make the rules, we just enjoy them.
Look at this.
Along with all this. Thanks for that new rendition of Kids Say the Darndest Things, Wolf.
Yes.
Yeah, I see we are learning all kinds of new. Would you date him now, Leia?
Gamer, no, he's as old as my father, so that would not look. That
no, she would date Clint Eastwood.
No,
he's a true American.
Clint Eastwood is 1 foot in the grave. Harrison Ford is as old as my father, so no.
All I'm saying is you go for the true blue American dude.
So I'm just
not saying Harrison's not a true blue American dude, but I know Leia's taste. He has to love America. He has to love God. He has to love his police officers and his military servicemen, and he has to love all forms of response rescue, and he has to love learning math, ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and he needs to be a man, not no confused boy who used pronouns incorrectly.
Yeah.
So we're talking John Wayne.
Clint Eastwood fits the bill. He check all the boxes.
Because John Wayne's kind of dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Leia ain't gonna sell for no grump.
No.
It's good to know that you will not be stepping out on Evans.
Oh no, that will never happen. No, that will never happen. Evans is
so long as he keeps his mouth shut.
Elvis is still.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I'm asking from Evans right now. Shut your damn mouth.
I got this image now in my head. I got this image now in my head now, Leia. Sorry, but this will be a joke at your expense. He goes, in a romantic evening, she'll say it again, Chris. And Chris perfectly monologues, before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Oh, God.
Her favorite triggering word would be, no, you move. Okay, in the bed.
Ryan, you want to get on this?
I'm not sure what I can really add to this. Although there were some, I think there was one teacher's aide that I kind of liked, but I never really went through with anything on it, though.
You shouldn't.
Nah.
I asked,
on it,
did you have a crush on an adult, or at least an adult teen or young adult in your lifetime?
I would say yeah, though I didn't act on it. I'm
sitting here like, bro, am I confusing everybody? It's a simple question.
It is. The one thing to say is Schooner. Here comes the bride, all dressed in white.
With Luke, we got a simple question. With me, we got rejection, and with Leia, we got sci-fi nerd, naturalism, I guess. And with you, it's I guess you just didn't ask.
When it comes to celebrity crushes, that's easy. I'm talking about like when you actually had a crush on somebody close to you, or even at school, or you probably admire this one regular person that like if you ever went to one of your coffee houses, right? And there's this one person that frequent there, and you never really let's just say you never mess up a curse to have conversation with them, but you did admire them from afar. That's what I'm saying. Like you had some sort of adult crush here and there too. That's also what I'm adding.
Oh, it was reversed for me because in college, when I was working in one of the libraries, the student would come in every day. He would come in and his computer would always break down. It was always breaking down. And I always had to go over there and help him constantly. And I said every day he came in there at the same time, 5:30 in the evening.
Always breaking down, you say?
Yeah, his computer was always, I said, again? I said, well, you sure you got
always breaking down, you say?
His computer. Yeah. And then it took a while for me to realize what he was doing. And then he confessed that he did it. He only came in there and did it on purpose to get my attention because he would see me in there. So he came in there and always would pretend so that I would lean over. That's what he said.
You should. You know what, Leia? Right there. You know what, Leia? You should reward him with a date at least once. At least a one-time date.
I did. I told him we could have lunch after I get off. Before my class, we'll walk over to the little cafe and have something. So I was nice.
But you rejected him, gently.
Well, it didn't. Well, we had a friendship.
The Lady of Valor. This is why you're the Lady of Valor.
Mm-hmm.
You let him down easy. You gave him the date.
Yes, I did. I went and gave him the date. He was harmless. I didn't get offended by what he was doing. I thought it was actually kind of cute. And I thought it was actually kind of cute when he kept. I said,
I call it
again. And I said,
I still call it
you'd always play it. I'm so sorry. I don't get all this. I'm so sorry. He actually was a foreign student. He was from some part of Africa. He's from Africa, but he faked not knowing English. He knew English very well, but he faked it. So in order to get me over there, and that was to get me. That was the only time he could get to talk to me.
This is why I wish I was born in Africa sometimes.
Because he would walk past the library, he would look in the window.
I'm gonna tell you right now, learn from experience from observing Nigerians. There's some sly motherfuckers.
He was sly.
They got the game. There's a reason why I hang around them a lot. There's a reason why I hang around them a lot because they got the they got it. Whatever they got it.
Mm-hmm.
And because when we went on the date in the little cafe, he spoke perfect English and told me he knows English. He just faked it to get me over there, to get my attention, for me to be in his company. Mm-hmm. But he knew English really well.
Yeah, see, for me, I'd probably want to be. I wish I had been born around.
Victoria, that's easy though. That's John Travolta. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about if you saw the neighborhood preacher or something, he looking fine as hell. That's what I'm saying. But the problem is, you 6 years old. You can't touch that. Is what I'm saying. Or at least you're 11 years old. You saw the town cop that's like sipping coffee at your local coffee, and you sitting with your parents, but you can't stop looking at that cop because he's so fine. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sorry. Well, if the adults around me at that age, there just weren't that many that had that great all-star fineness that that you speak of. So I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah, you gave him that. You gave him that.
Is that he was trying to? Well, he wasn't really a player. He was innocent. He was not a bad guy.
He was African dude from. He was African dude from Fat Girls, is what she's saying. You make my heart go ring a ding a ding.
He was kind. He wasn't.
Victoria, though, I do forgive you. Okay, from Danny from Greece is fine.
Yes, I feel you, Victoria. You're all right. You're all right, Victoria. That's cool. I ain't ashamed of my hair, my Han Solo crush back then. I ain't ashamed of that.
Mm.
No, now. Because
Okay,
there's a
okay. I'll admit, I had a weakness for what's her face? I had a weakness for Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct.
Lots of boys did.
All of us had weakness.
Even after she ice picked the dude.
I think we all.
My nephew at 7 was in love with Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he wrote it. He wrote it on his school paper. This was what happened. He was on his school paper. The teacher asked him. He was kind of like the teacher asked him, now, if you could have dinner with any famous person in this world that you could sit down and have dinner with and learn intellectually from, who would you pick? The boy, I saw the paper. He said Angelina Jolie. The teacher said, "No." He stood in class and read it. He said, "Why did you write Angelina Jolie on your paper?" And then he looked at the teacher and said, "Because she's hot. What else?" He said that to the teacher.
Can't get much simpler than that.
He said that to my sister told me that boy stood in class and told that teacher, "She's hot. What else does he need to know?" So he did. He loved Tomb Raider. He loved to him, he thought Angelina Jolie was sexy. He told me Angelina Jolie. Who else did he when he was young? Angelina Jolie and
yeah, he never
what's that Latino girl? I can't think of her name now. I can't think of her name right now, but she used to play on a show, what is it? The Wizards of Waverly Place. I can't think of her name.
I can't help you there. I avoid that show like plague.
Well, he had pictures on her wall, and he told me he wanted to marry her someday. So,
Is he gonna have left
in Tomb Raider and all this stuff, but you never showed him Hackers?
I don't know. I have to ask him.
Did he see right there?
You never showed him Gia? Oh wait, you shouldn't show him Gia.
No. I never showed him Gia. I never showed him that. But but that's when he was 7. That's what he said was, and I said, looked at him. He said, "Did you say that to your teacher?" Yeah. He said, "What?" And Selena Gomez, thank you, Victoria. That was another one of his crushes. He told me. He said, that is going to be my wife. That's who I want to marry and have kids by.
Gamer,
that's a strong declaration right there.
Yeah.
Gamer, you are. I get that reference, and you are a legend.
I think I had a crush on Ellie Sattler in Jurassic Park 2 one time.
He wrote down right here, not to mention the gratuitous beaver shot in Basic Instinct, and that was.
I didn't even see that scene.
That was in National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon.
Oh yeah, you didn't see that scene, Commander? I thought you saw the whole Basic Instinct movie.
When I was a kid, I didn't see that scene.
Oh, okay, all right.
As an adult, of course I saw that scene as an adult, but as a kid, I'm talking about my first viewing. I didn't see that scene.
Let's also not forget.
I just remember Wayne Knight sweating really hard over her.
Yeah. You know, to be fair though, he was sweating more in Jurassic Park than he was sweating in that scene. Which I think Wayne Knight really liked those dinosaurs.
Really?
Which I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now, if they were to go an R-rated version of Jurassic Park, Wayne Knight will be a mountain of meat.
Yep.
Because they do find his body later on in the story, and he had no jaw.
Yeah. In the book, yeah. I actually read the book. They found
Wayne Knight's character, Dennis Nedry.
Oh, okay.
They found him in the. They found him in the. It was in the book too, wasn't it?
Yep.
They found his body, and it was like completely like, oh god, like they barely. The only reason why they recognized him is because of his name tag was still on his body. Yep.
No more legs, no more arms. His intestines were on the ground too, and he tried to pick them back up. His face had no face and no jaw.
Can you imagine that in a movie? People be screaming up a
That's
storm.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like if Spielberg were to go R-rated,
yeah, But I feel it's more of what we don't see that makes it more terrifying.
They don't even find that's the thing. They don't even find his body in the movie.
No,
Oh yeah.
and that makes it all the more terrifying. I mean, right when the Dilophosaurus is in there, and then it just cuts to outside the car, and you just see the shadows, silhouettes of the dinosaur Dennis getting tossed around.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe that because the guy, because he that thing with the
Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus. Well, I kind of figured after he jumped in the car and tore him up. I even sat in my seat and said it was not going to be much left of him because that thing got him head on. I'm surprised he was. I was surprised
they allowed to show Genario's body parts.
Yeah, because I was yelling at the screen. I yelled at the screen, "Boo, that's a dinosaur. Why are you talking to it? You can't treat it like a dog."
Because he's scared. Because he's scared. And when you're scared, your mind don't process things differently. So he's going to like he's already in that situation. He's trying to find a way to get him away from him at that point. But like he's like you could tell in his voice and in his expression, he's scared.
He just goes, he goes, "Oh, nice boy. Oh, nice boy. Nice dinosaur."
Yeah, you want the stick? Here's the stick. You want the stick? Here, go fetch the stick. Go. You're not so bad. Yeah, you're not so bad. You're like, you just got a family, right? You like your brothers and sisters. You're not so bad, right? You're not a bad dinosaur.
Yeah.
He doesn't like they beat so many animals. He wouldn't be able to tell which one is the meat eating kind and the plant eating kind. So that expression when he's saying, you're not so bad. You're like your brothers and sisters. You're not so bad. He's assuming that this must be the plant eating kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, that's what he's thinking.
He goes, "Thought you were one of your big brothers. You're not so bad. Oh, no, you're not so bad at all."
And he forgot that thing spits.
I still love the one scene though where he says, "Oh, no wonder you're extinct. I'm gonna run you over when I come down."
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I guess. And I don't think he expected the Dilophosaurus to get in the car. Because that shocked me too. I'm like,
he left the car. Well, that's the thing. He left the car door open. That's not the same Dilophosaurus.
Oh, okay. Somebody got in, and I knew right then and there when he got in the car. When I'm like, well, there's not gonna be nothing left in him. I said it in the theater. I'm like, oh, we nothing left of him. It's gonna be gone there.
He's lucky he didn't crash into the raptor paddock.
Oh, if he was, that was it. First of all, how is he going to outrun them? We know he can't, so that would be the end of that with the Raptors.
The moment he walk in, they zip past him, and already he's bleeding.
Yeah. The Raptors.
One would just scratch him, and he wouldn't know that he's bleeding.
Well, that was the thing. Yeah, he got I'm sorry. I think who got the best death in that movie? I think it was Robert Muldoon. The way that Velociraptor came right down on top of him.
And he lived in the book.
Yeah,
he lived in the book. Oh, really? I didn't read the book, so I wouldn't know exactly what happened. But
that man in the book is a badass. He came out with a freaking rocket launcher. Exactly. And Gennario had to load the rockets with him with his cowardly ass. Oh yeah, Gennario lives in the book too.
Well, that's the thing too. And the lawyer guy, he's way different in the book. He's actually a little.
Everybody's different. Everybody's different.
Everybody's different. Hammond's an asshole.
Yeah. I'm glad that's the only change I approve of in the movie. Because that dude's a dick, even to his own grandchildren.
Yeah.
The man that runs the park?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's way different. He is like a money obsessed guy, and he does not care about safety regulations or all that. He basically says, I bought all this, and I'm going to be making trillions of dollars, so I have the best equipment. He is like the most arrogant man you will have ever. He's what do they call him? Megalomaniac.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Very different.
He meets his death different. He meets a terrible death at the end too.
In the book, how does he die in the book? Because in the movie he lives.
So remember the compies in the second movie, which does happen in the book of the second movie, but Hammond meets the same in like the dude in the with the compies.
Right.
Oh, those are little green dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see. Okay, I think I know where this is going.
Only difference is that the compies carry neurotoxin in the book.
Oh, oh, so he gets attacked by them.
Yeah. So like what happened was the kids were playing with the dinosaur sounds on the intercom,
Mm-hmm.
and he perceived it to be a T-Rex that was in the area. So he he actually leaves one of his subordinates. He like knocks him over and leaves him for dead. But then he trips down a hill and falls down and sprains his ankle. So he tries to climb back up. I think he almost made it there, but he fell down again, hurt his ankle some more. One of the companies bit into him. He tries to get back up again, try to walk, but the neurotoxin starts taking effect. He lays down. He's paralyzed now, and they all pile on him. But we don't hear what they do to him after that, other than the testimony of one of the rescuers. They tell
Yeah.
him that Hammett's body. They go into detail of what happened to Hammett's body.
Oh yeah,
Which
there's this
is-
whole
Okay,
court
yeah.
hearing. There's this whole court debriefing that's going because they're making it public. So this that's what it is, a court hearing. That's what it was.
Yeah. And Malcolm dies in the book, but of course they retcon that in the second book.
Yeah, that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died of his injuries. You know how he gets injured, but in if you just take the first book as the only book, Malcolm is dead. So anybody who loved Jeff Goldblum reading the actual book Jurassic Park, cry, and then cry some more. Oh, we love your tears. Oh, we love all your tears.
They're gonna
Especially
cry
if you watch the movie.
96 tears.
Especially if you watch the movie first before you read the book. Oh, and Ellie's badass in the book.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's badass in the movie, but boy, is she badass in the book.
Mhm.
Like really badass. And speaking
you know,
of May December romances, or at least May December relationships, Dr. Grant is way more older in the book, and Ellie's way more younger than she's portrayed in the actual movie.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, Leia.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
Yes,
interesting.
they don't have this sort of pseudo relationship building.
They don't have a relationship.
They have a student teacher respect relationship.
Okay,
So
that's not so bad.
She's a TA in the book rather than a work colleague, Haley
Okay.
botanist in the movie.
Wolf,
So
I'm
she's a college student.
Wolf, I'm noticing a pattern. You had a thing for Laura Dern in Jurassic Park. You read the book. Ellie is a TA, and you once asked a TA if she was a virgin.
What can I say? I like assistance.
Patterns within patterns. That's only we can say it in a Nicolas Cage voice.
Like I said, I just like women being very, very resourceful in assisting the men that they admire or at least respect. Let's just say that.
Glasses, Wolf.
Huh?
It's the thing. It's the glasses, isn't it?
I think it's the squinty eyes. I think it's her eyes and her legs. Oh, definitely legs. Definitely legs. Especially when she ran up to Dr. Grant and wrapped her legs around his waist. Oh, yeah. That was quite a sight. That was quite a sight. Yes, Lord Darn, mount that man.
Oh my goodness.
Look. I was happy for them to know that they both survived. Okay.
Okay.
I was rooting for that woman to mount that man because she was lucky to be alive and happy that he is alive. Okay. I'm actually celebrating two people in a stressful time, being glad that they saw each other alive again. Okay. It ain't me saying, fuck the man's brains out or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you jumped on him, you wrapped your legs around him, you're happy to see him. Definitely. I didn't say now fuck his brains out. I didn't say all that. I said mount that man, okay? Y'all took it a whole different direction.
Sure we did. Sure we did.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
So are you a girl?
What?
Oh wait, no, he's saying Leia was simp on book Dr. Grant. Okay.
Okay, now wait a minute. Now wait, I know that everybody's getting on older guys.
That's what I was going to say. But the relationship in the book is written really well. I mean, you don't have to always have the younger characters always falling for their older, teachers.
And while we're still and while we're on child characters, the age difference between Lex and Tim are different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Lex is younger. She's 5 versus Tim being 11.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the movie proper, I think Tim is 11 and Lex is 13.
Definitely, she's definitely supposed to be a teenager because you see how she's was eloquently put by Samuel Proctor, was simping on Alan Grant.
Mm-hmm.
I can see there.
Information that leads our minds to here.
Yes.
Here.
Samuel Proctor, yes.
Yep, he's got a point there.
Comes with the territory.
I think I'm gonna cut out right here because I got roast tomorrow.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm about to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We can pick up a part 2 on this if you guys want to.
No,
Oh.
thank you.
I think
No, Trooper, we're not. Do you mean the child stories or our ridiculous May December crushes?
maybe we should make that a stream too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Well,
we told how pretty much everything we needed to tell in the May December crush. You know what? That would actually be good. You and
I think we
Spacey,
should. I'm sorry, Trooper. Go ahead. I mean, I'm sorry, Scooney. Go ahead and finish.
we make a stream that basically makes the list of our crushes.
Yeah.
We can do that in the fun talk, but I definitely would like to talk about May December romances, which
I think
don't
so
really.
too. I don't think there's enough. It's more men being older and women being younger, and not older women and younger guy. I definitely don't see a lot of that.
There are a
Yeah.
handful.
What about the situation with Madonna and her new boyfriend?
Yeah, there are a
That's
handful
like
of movies that touch on
December,
that.
January, right
I'm
there.
gonna see you guys. So,
See you,
All right,
man.
man.
okay.
Good night,
Sign
guys.
off before you leave, man.
Late.
So hope you guys had a good time and catch you in the next stream. And everybody have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah, because you didn't do it last time. I was about ready to hound your ass for that.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good evening, Brian. Thank you for stopping by.
No problem.
Oh wow.
Well, that could be another topic.
Well, I can already answer that. It's Jack from The Incredibles. Just the way he transforms, he's a million and more. He's like a Swiss Army knife of superpowers.
Until they made that into a joystick.
I would
Yep.
say
I didn't appreciate that.
I didn't like that either. I liked it better that it was tied to his emotions.
I don't know. I have to sit on that one, but if I had to just kind of make a decision right now, it would be
Tim
split
Drake for me.
between, like Ahsoka Tano and gosh,
See you later, Samuel. It's good to having you here.
Adios, Samuel Proctor.
I'm glad we threw some entertainment your way while you were here.
Well, that's good. I hope we gave him some good laughs. I've been trying to make jokes. I was hitting hard in the beginning, and then now it's just a DOA.
You're doing a great job with that.
You were great tonight, Scooney. The zingers were definitely there. Definitely, there was a lot to crack up at.
All right,
Gotta learn a little bit more about me and my childhood.
All
Yes.
right, note to self. Note to self.
I
Always
thought
have
my
a-
childhood was boring, but apparently I was wrong.
No.
Well-
We all have a novel within us.
We've all had our crushes, like you said, Wolf. We've all had them. So
Everyone is no fakes here. I didn't hear Troopers, but he doesn't have to. But we've all had.
Well, if you look at Troopers now, it's definitely redhead related.
yeah, usually redhead.
Usually redheads. Well, that narrows it a bit.
I know, right?
Pretty
Yeah,
sure
I
it's
got
something he probably.
I
I
bet
know,
you
I
look at
know,
my-
I know, Samuel. I know. Just getting it out the way.
I got
No,
it.
we-
I got it. I think I can picture it. I think I got Trooper's girl now. His childhood crush, given the redhead clue. Jessica Rabbit.
Who?
Good one. Oh,
Jessica Rabbit.
Oh
Roger
God,
Rabbit.
no.
Well, you got something against redheads? You got something against
I have
dudes,
something
don't
against
you?
Jessica Rabbit.
You are a tuna.
He don't like how she's drawn.
I'm just drawn that way. Oh my okay.
Oh, what
not
about
bad.
all
I'm just drawn
right? What
that
about
way.
Red Sonja, the live action one?
Sonya.
Oh,
Sonya.
Brigitte Nielsen.
yeah.
Her work is my work. And then she gets up like nothing ever happened. Who are you anyway? So that's probably one of the best scenes in the film because it's like, wow. So you just switch from having your like sister dying and then you're all heartbroken, then you get all like, who are you anyway? like she's lying on the ground right there. like, I'm Prince Galador. So yeah, no, that's
Tanya Roberts from Beastmaster.
Lucy Lawless.
No, she's too wide. It like it's hard to explain. When I mean wide, I mean rectangular. Like she's too rectangular.
Mm-hmm.
So
I see what you're saying there.
yeah.
There's some female proportions that I cannot stand. Anna Kendrick being one.
Yeah.
Too triangle.
Like rectangular. I can't handle.
Like I'm surprised I got through a simple favor because Blake Lively overshadowed her in that movie in hotness. Like she look, I'm glad they made Blake Lively the main antagonist in that movie because freaking if they had to make Anna Kendrick that, I was like, I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
Like Blake Lively, like she was just out there like that. Has any of you guys seen A Simple Favor?
I think I have. Yeah.
It's the one where she babysits new Snake Eyes' kid while entertaining his crazy psycho wife.
Yeah.
And she's running a mommy blog because she has a son too.
A mommy blog.
Yeah, that's what she calls it, a mommy blog.
So are we talking like more Emma Stone here then, Trooper?
Fuck no.
Definitely.
I was talking about.
Emma Stone. Like
It's them eyes, man.
it's.
Is it Judy? Am I pushing it with Judy Greer?
Judy Greer. I have to refresh my memory of her.
What about Amy Adams?
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely Amy. Ooh. It's them eyes. Again, it's them eyes.
Yeah.
It's them sapphire eyes. Goodness gracious, them things glow in the light. You put the light, you shine a light on them, and they just that's mesmerizing. Excuse me, wife.
Or have Rachel
Jack
McAdams dye her
Chastain.
hair, and I'll be all right.
What happened, Trooper?
I said just have Rachel McAdams dye her hair, and I'll be all right.
Got him. There you go. So no, Jessica
I
Chastain.
mean, natural redheads for sure, but I mean,
Oh hell no, not Judy Greer. She looks too much like what's her face?
well, it would have had to have been like young Judy Greer, not old Judy Greer. So.
She was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Judy Greer had like her one moment, and then that was it.
Sure as hell ain't gonna be Ally McBeal anytime soon.
Oh, you mean Miss Harrison Ford? No.
That was funny. Robert Downey Jr. was in Ally McBeal.
Yes, he was.
And actually,
It sure as hell ain't gonna be Julia Stiles anytime soon either. Much respect to her, but she wasn't doing it for me in the '90s, or at least the 2000s. Especially when she was going on those feminist like characters.
Mm-hmm.
I call them light because let's just say in 10 Things I Hate About You, she was full on that shit, but like in another movie where she meets a prince, she wasn't really all about that.
I get
she was mostly she came from a family of hard workers is what I'm saying. And she didn't like the privileged life.
Right. Right.
That's
I can
I like.
respect that.
I forgot the name of that. Me and my wife watched it too. She happened upon it, and I was in for the ride.
I think it's The Prince in Me. I think that's what it's called.
I think that's what it's called. Prince
Yeah.
and Me.
Yeah. I
was
didn't
like-
mind that film. I
And I
liked
looked at
it.
it. I'm like, what year was this?
King and I.
Oh, fuck that animation.
It's better than the King and I.
Yeah.
Better than the Prince and-
I'd rather rewatch Anne and the King, and even that one was completely off base with the actual story, and still like to this day, people debate whether what was real about the testimonies there.
What? About what?
Anna and the King of Siam.
Oh.
There were some very disparaging things she said about the king, and there's still a big debate on whether or not the King of Siam is a tyrant or he treated her good or stuff like that. Like she did, like there's a history behind that, and even then, like it's really hard to really portray that story accurately.
Well, it's the same thing with when I forgot who it was, Fox or 2060 Fox. They did the movie based on Anastasia, the Anastasia movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they really had to make that a fairy tale because the real story of the real Anastasia is a grim story. So if you have to know the real story of Anastasia to see that. If you know the real story of her life, you'll see that how they really had to make that into a fairy tale because her life sadly was not a fairy tale for her and the rest of her family. It's a tragic story of what happened to the real Anastasia and the princess and her royal family. Very dark, a very sad, tragic story.
In Russia, we have no fairy tales.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't. They had only Fox Studio could make that story up. And
in Mother Russia, bad ending happens to you, not good ending.
So the story.
And I do actually like the literature that came out of Russia, especially during the time of the communists, because you just learn so much of this, depressing stuff, especially after the fall of communism. You start reading stories and you're like, wow. And it's like what it is the never-ending sacrifice for every family. Every family basically, and I love how they actually paid homage to this in DS9. They basically, every family endured a hardship with very little reward, and then it's on to the next member of the family to carry on that hardship.
Exactly.
In Mother Russia, we teach children to raise tough children.
Exactly, and they don't cry, and they're not crying about it because they can't cry about it because this is their culture, and it just basically is like that's what the sacrifice was, the never-ending sacrifice.
In Mother Russia, you're allowed to cry when you won the victory.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe that's why they don't get emotional at the Olympics. Then they just stand there stone-faced when they win something. I'm sorry, I noticed that.
And that kind of thing. You ever wonder though, like, this is why the miracle on ice was so important when America won the
gold medal.
The gold medal at the Olympics, because that's all that these guys did. They were training, they were regimented, and they were, my God, and they were trying to show their superiority. To say that their system of government was working when it really wasn't. And we knew that they knew it wasn't. And we knew that they knew that, and they knew that we knew that it was all crap. So we had to beat them though in the big spectacle in the world, the quote unquote world arena.
Have you noticed that's always been America's biggest challenge every single century is to beat Russia?
Yes. Yeah. The Russian sports system, especially in the winter, mostly in summer, but in the winter,
just about every occasion.
It depends on who's in power because it's either Russia or it's China, either or.
Well, I would say
all I'm saying is every once in a while we have to fight the Russians
in the winter
because they challenge us.
Yes, in winter sports, I would say Russia completely because they dominate, skating and skiing and all those things.
Mhm.
But in the summer,
Have you
China.
seen their cosplayers?
And no, I haven't seen Russian cos. I didn't know they cosplay in Russia.
You gotta show, yeah, that little. You should see some of the that is like, whoa. Would you say, Wolf? Would you say that that's like Hollywood level?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll make a bold statement. Put it this way, Leia plus size. It puts Hollywood to shame.
Right now with Hollywood
me a
being
sec.
a nut case that it is, I'm glad to hear that. But wow,
Give me a sec.
Very
Let
different.
me find one that's not as.
Because cosplaying is looked down upon here. But wow, if they do, what we're going on in Hollywood right now, I say more power to them.
Well, that was the thing we were talking about in the green room before you came on. You got to remember, pop culture for the longest time, has been a very Western thing. So when you get pop culture,
There you go, Leia.
When you get pop culture in other countries, it's very different.
There you go, Leia. Right there.
Is she a video game character?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll give it to her. You're right, Scooney. Maybe it is a totally
Here, I got
different
another
thing.
one real quick.
It's just different
If it loads.
culturally over there because
Probably a broken one.
Yeah, you should really see pop culture in other countries and what they do. Some of these conventions, they really go all out.
Here's one that you can recognize.
I believe you, Scooney. But the way
That's a
it's
Russian.
Yeah, that's Fiona right there from Shrek the Third.
That's a Russian? Oh, okay. But you know what? I give her more. I am not offended because now this would not be allowed at Comic-Con.
See, this is one thing I respect Russians. They go hard. I'm saying when Russians step in, they go hardcore.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I do, because that's the way we need to be here in the United States.
Well, try showing some German cosplayers.
Because that's what the woke nuts don't want that. They don't want that. They don't. I give them mad respect. I ain't got none but respect. Because here they want to lock us down from doing that. They want us to come in and look all transgender Captain Marvel, Brie Larson Captain Marvel crap.
I took Guy Barbie.
Yes. They want that, and that's what we want to look like. But the woke tards, the ones that are insecure and hate themselves,
find ones that are not very risky, if you will.
But I give her respect. I'll give her respect. Okay, if that's Fiona, that's it.
That's Lady Laumas, by the way.
I give her respect because we can't do it here because the woke nuts won't allow it. They want us to look like Captain Marvel, with trash bags overhead and hide our hips and breasts and look like transgender Teelan, transgender Brie Larson, Captain Marvel crap. That's what they want you come in looking at. So I think they got more respect for it than we're getting right now. We as fans, it's the woke nuts that would blow their stack if they saw that. Their heads would explode. I say more power to her.
Oh yeah.
I say more power to her.
Here's another one for Cyberpunk 2077.
That a video game? I'm not good with the video game characters. I have to be honest about that. But the movie characters and comic book characters,
I video game.
Okay. Here's one that I found. I hope. Yeah. Here's one that I found. Wow, that got a little long. I think you'll recognize these characters. Yeah, these are German, by the way.
Let me see. It's not coming up.
Darn it.
I'm sorry, Scooney. It's not coming up.
Nah, it's my fault. I should have been. I should have been more.
Mm-mm.
Hang
That's
on.
okay. Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, well, you get the idea.
I get the idea. I give them mad respect. But I'm waiting for Wolf because I've got to get ready and sign out for the evening. So, but he's
Yeah,
I get to
yeah.
sign out for the evening. I was waiting for you to return.
Well, I'd
Before
like to thank everybody for joining us and hearing us, our stories and everything. I'd like to thank Trooper FN 2525.
It has been a fun time. Glad we got to all kind of sit around and talk about the stuff. Definitely some interesting content there towards the end. And if you like what you heard, or not, hit the upvote, share, subscribe. Also, if you want to find us on MeWe, you can find me by my tag. I know you can find Wolf and Scooter by their tags. Definitely check us out. We got a lot of content. I'd like to thank Alea Skinner and also Brian Gilmartin for sitting in, and also Wolf for hosting us today on this very interesting discussion about child actors.
I'd like to thank the lovely Lady of Valor.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone that joined us today. This is the lovely Lady of Valor Plus Size. And if you did come for a discussion about children and us burying our souls, we thank you for coming. We just hope you had some fun. Yeah, we talk about serious subjects, but we want you to have some fun as well. So if you like what you heard, please leave us a comment. Please give us likes. We would like to have a lot of likes. That would really help Commander get out there, get his name out there in the YouTube sphere. And
The U.N Spacey Wolf Fleet.
Pardon me.
Like,
I know I'm the leader. I know I'm the leader, but
no, this is your baby, so we want to make sure that we get it correct.
right.
So please leave comments and suggestions. If you have suggestions on topics you would love to see us cover and discuss, please leave it in the comments below. And if you know any child actors or stories or characters that we left out, please leave it in the comments below as well. We'd like to hear from everybody. And I wish you all a good evening, and I hope to see you soon.
I'd like to thank Schooner Tuna.
Coming at you live from a secret government facility buried deep underground, but has excellent Wi-Fi. This is Schooner Tuna. I'd like to thank all of you for coming and listening to us talk about child actors and listening to us bore our souls out. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, share, and subscribe with all of your friends, as was said previously. And if we've lost some of you because we bored our souls out a little too much, well, we had a good run. So, this is Schooner Tuna signing off. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Bloop, 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 bloop. I love that bloop bloop that you do.
It's cute, yeah.
Thank you, all of you, everyone for still showing up, because again, like lately, that watch counter still shows 0 before you guys start showing up and showing it. So please let me know in the comments whether or not you guys are getting a notification or not. You making sure you're hitting that bell for whenever I go live, or whenever we go live. So hopefully we don't we don't run into troubles where we're talking for at least like close to an hour and we have no audience whatsoever. Like, I was really worried about this one. Definitely worried about this stream as well, because I thought the Damien picture was scaring people off or something like that. So yeah, definitely keep checking to see if you're getting notified or not, because Eloise had told me over at Ishi stream that she didn't even get notified, even on the Sunday stream where we had our rewatch of the Tomorrow War. So I think I'm doing Ishi doing Ishi Rebellion right now. They're actually picking up on what I'm saying about these SJ hobos, or at least what we're saying about these SJ hobos. So I'm like, I guess I'm doing it right if nobody's picking up on the notifications or something like that.
I think we're going to be found somewhere deep in the future of the interweb, and we will be hits in the future, the dark web.
Or we'll be moving on to Odyssey, and I'll definitely let you guys know that we'll when the time comes when we move to Odyssey, we'll we'll let you know that we moved on to IC or Telegram.
Mhm.
Cause yeah, it's not that YouTube sucks. Yes, it does. But we want to stretch our horizons too now.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'd like to thank everybody again for joining us, having fun, talking about our our good times, our worst times, mostly talking shit. You know, we're a merry band of shit talkers, of course. So
Mhm.
definitely, yeah, I know y'all guys come for that shit too. But you guys come for our knowledge, or at least our ideas on how to write good stories, or what writing techniques you could probably try out to write your good stories. And again, like I said, time has come for you guys to take the narrative in your own hands and create your own stuff instead of just waiting for anybody else to do it for you. But again, guys, remember, you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet.